Come, no need to pray for me. Come, no need to cry for me. I make my own fate. No one's gonna break me. So far, no one can stop. No need to pray for me. No need to cry for me. This is my own fate. No one's gonna break me.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the GCS Unofficial English broadcast. I am D2. With me is The Source. This is the final week of the regular season. We're getting down to it, The Source. And today we have yet another couple of what should be one-sided matches, but that shouldn't discourage you from watching because we all love to watch excellence in action. As it's going to be J-Team versus Mad and Flash Wolves versus One. Now, all of this aside, all of the one-sidedness aside, these are pretty important matches. If J-Team wins this, then they are more or less secured the number one seed, which is very important, particularly if AHQ can turn it on and reach the finals. They get that guaranteed AIC spot, whereas Flash Wolves, The Source, you and I know, they've been falling down a little bit, and can they turn it around now?
Yeah, it's been a rough time for Flash Wolves over the last couple of weeks, and although these matches don't change who's going to be at playoffs, what we do get to see is two different tests. One for J-Team, can you solidify yourselves as the top team? Can you guarantee, this should be a routine performance for them. This should be a clear, clean-cut victory. They've performed great over the course of the season, looking to end strong. The Flash Wolves versus One matchup is a question of how much further is Flash Wolves going to fall. Does One still have a little bit left in the tank just to kind of prove themselves, even though they won't be able to mathematically make playoffs? Can they pick a bit more of a fight? And does this open up a window for SMG and AHQ to move up in the standing?
Absolutely. So, like you saw in the standings there, J-Team and Flash Wolves in similar places number-wise. Same thing with Mad and One. However, different stories coming in. J-Team has been the top team for basically the entire season, with a couple of hiccups. They lost to SMG and Flash Wolves in succession, but aside from that little blip, they've been the top team. And as far as Flash Wolves is concerned, ever since Shishi went out of the lineup, they've been looking really shaky, not being the missing link that they needed. He has not been the best mid laner for them. And as far as Mad and One are concerned, both of them are out of the playoffs, so we could see anything today. They could be seeing, what kind of substitutes can play well. But as far as coming into the match, Mad has been on the upswing, whereas One has kind of been around what they've been the entire season, just kind of up and down. But let's take a look at J-Team with Yuzon, Neil, Star wins, and Benny. No changes here.
Yeah, we've seen incredibly high skill play out of Neil, just pushing the limits of J-Team's. Neil has been pumping up their team fighting in a way we weren't expecting. At the beginning of the season, we saw a lot of top-tier macro out of them. They were the macro team. Flash was the team fighting team. AHQ had Sun for Gravity, and really that was kind of the story that we got out of those three teams. Now, I think Neil has pumped up their playmaking potential, their team fighting, with SMG moving up the standings, with Liang threatening Sun up in that Dark Slayer lane as a possibility. We were always kind of talking Sun and Yuzon. Yuzon can definitely still step up, but we've seen them shift their playstyle away from always having to rely on that macro.
Right. And the thing is, just to build onto that point, whenever we cast J-Team, it always felt like we never saw their any star potential come out. They just kind of, as a team, outplayed everyone. And so
Yes.
You never really catch yourself saying, oh my god, what an amazing play by X, or what a great play by Y. It was always just them as a team moving together. As we take a look at Mad team here, Bevel, Sor, Shinyi, Ronin, and Ohm. I don't believe there's any changes here from their normal line.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we look at, for instance, the AHQ, you have, oh my god, Sun made an amazing play, or Rush did that, or you look at SMG and oh my god, Liang or Hanzo or Chi-Chi or what have you. So, but with J-Team, that just never stood out. Maybe a couple plays by Yuzon on Superman, but that's about it. And what do you think about that? Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? I feel like at some point you need to have that individual star power in order to win something like the AIC.
It'll definitely have an effect in AIC, and that's why I brought up Neil. Like when we were seeing some of these Cricknack picks get through, Neil was bringing some top tier play, and I hope that J Team is starting to develop that star power because, like you're saying, does that become a problem in the AIC? It kind of does. When you have teams that are just a true full unit, what you get is dominant league play. When they're playing in a comfortable setting, week in and week out, you will get them performing at the top. And I don't actually believe that J Team's ever fallen from the first place seed or from the first place position in the league. Sometimes they might have been tied, but I don't think they've ever dropped. And that can kind of become a problem if you don't have star power, because when you get into a tournament like AIC and when you get up against the wire and you're in game 5 of a finals and you're in game 5 of a really, clutch, bloody close series, sometimes you need that star making play for morale. Sometimes you need it just to win a given team fight to clutch out the game. There are a lot of factors of having somebody you can who can clutch up for the team. Now, AHQ has always kind of made themselves as a group of 5 players who could clutch up for the team in a lot of ways. That's kind of how they've how they were at AWC, is you could always see any one of them do that. And that's been shifting a little bit for them as time has gone on. For J Team, the unit, they are greater than the sum of their parts, but if a part breaks, that's where we've seen them have issues.
Yeah, and I feel like J Team overall is just solid, whereas AHQ, when they won the World Championship, it was just completely outplaying the other team in a macro sense. And so you didn't really need to see necessarily individuals stand out because you were just taking down their towers, and those aren't superstar plays anyway. But taking a look at this draft here, we do have the Cricknack out, so no Neil and Cricknack today. The funny thing is, when we first saw Neil and Cricknack, even when he was being quote-unquote the star player, he was still sacrificing for the team. Like, when we first saw him, he was diving the backline, making sure to sacrifice his life, even if, or I should say, even if he sacrificed his life, he would make sure to take out the ADC, and I believe it was Slims in that game. But it's just kind of funny that even when they're using their star power, it's all for the team. But it looks like we have a Mad Fnatic in the stands there. And J Team, all right, it looks like they get the Lindis that they want. With Cricknack out, she is certainly much more of a terror. Now, this does leave Ignis for the side of Mad. You and I, we're not the biggest Ignis fans. We feel like he's good, but not necessarily first wave of ban worthy.
Yeah, I won't say that I've bought tickets to the hype train. I've reserved a seat, but I haven't paid for that ticket just yet because we haven't seen anybody make Ignis shine to the point where we were so terrified of. Like, we were confused when we started seeing the Ignis bans. The patch had come through; it had been a week or two, and Ignis was just being permanent. Was like, what has this character become? And we were discussing this before the cast got started, in the sense of, we still haven't seen what ladder can really do with him in the other regions. We don't play on the Taiwanese ladder as much as I wish I could, just to see what goes on over there. So I think the science isn't in on Ignis yet. He's definitely good, but I don't know if Raz is the ban, because you just gave up Lindish, Chognar, Liliana. You really just gave, because of the way that draft scenario works, you just handed J Team 3 high playmaking characters, or 2 high playmaking characters, and a massive deterrent in the Chognar, and you got Ignis.
Yeah, and well, the thing is, with Ignis, we've seen a couple of players pull it off and kind of force the bans in later games. For instance, Hanzo comes to mind. There's that clip on Reddit from one of our casts. Well, the clip on Reddit had the Taiwanese casters, but Ignis single-handedly killing the Garak there was just absolutely hilarious. But not everyone can play it to that level, so I feel like it's not something that should be so widely feared.
Revered. Honestly, I say revered more than feared. I think people believe in it more so than they're afraid of it, because it's earning a place in the pick rotation where it is, and that's the crazy part. Is like it's affecting draft at one of the more crucial moments, and I don't think it's I still don't think its playmaking potential is high enough to affect the draft this way.
Right. And you see people get messed up by a huge holy embers, but at the same time, you see teams playing around, Yabanath, you see teams learn how to play around certain heroes, and I feel like once teams start to learn how to play around it, it's going to, at the very least, drop to the level of Valheim, where, it's useful, but it's not something that you need to be absolutely either fearing or revering, like we mentioned. But we have our second wave of bans nearly in here, as Malik Morja taken out here from Mad. And the Croft, I was thinking maybe they're going to go for the Murad ban to protect the Lindis, but they just get rid of the Omen. And this is interesting because it takes away some of the potential here for J-Team to pick their possible heroes, but it does open up the Superman for Yuzon.
Yeah, and Roxy's not banned.
This
Superman's not banned. This is that Raz ban. Like, that to me doesn't make sense for the value of the Ignis pick. And this is where we get to see. I think the best moments we've seen for Ignis is when it got a good game, and the question was, okay, we're going to pinch the mid lane in general, like taking out Ignis, taking out Raz or Liliana, and picking the other one for ourselves in high priority.
Oh no.
And out comes the Fennec, and this is, I think, the biggest crutch we've seen in the GCS, is they are not good at quick adaptation to a pinched hero pool. When it came to mid laners, when it came to junglers. Those are the two positions that we've seen the least progression. Or not least progression. We have seen the most teams struggle to adapt when their mid laners are cut off and when their junglers are cut off. Until the Ignis came through, it was Crixie all day long if Raz or Lily were banned. Now with Necroth, Cricknack, and Lindis all off the board, leaning into a Fennec, but Zephys is up.
Oh, Wero.
Oh boy. Oh,
time
to
pull up the Wero page. Oh, no, maybe not. False alarm.
But I mean, do you agree that it seems like these lower tier GCS teams, as good as they are in comparison to the rest of the world, they seem to fall over drafting when it comes to these pinched positions.
Speaking of which, oh no. Okay. Oh, you're scaring me here, man.
But think about it. They are at a loss now. Granted, you've already picked the Fennec for your jungle, and your Kilgoth isn't a bad lane matchup in almost every scenario.
No, Kilgoth is good. Kilgoth is good. The Kilgoth, I breathed a sigh of relief when they picked the Kilgoth here. When they were looking at the Xanis, I was like, what is happening? Oh my goodness, Xanis.
But they entertained it. They entertained the Xanis. Do you think that means that these mid to lower tier GCS teams, is it just that they're more mechanically skilled but they panic and draft?
You know what? I think they're trying to be creative, but they're not thinking. If that makes any sense. They're not critically thinking about what heroes are trying. They're trying to think outside the box. But they end up just picking or thinking about something for the sake of considering it and not actually critically analyzing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so they're
fishing. They're fishing for crazy ideas, and they're throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Like yesterday, they were like, Crixie. Well, it makes sense. And we thought the same thing. We're like, Crixie makes sense here. They switched to Jinra. We're like, yes, that's correct. And that's one of those things where they thought about it, and they're like, well, Crixie's the first reaction, your gut reaction, right? But when you think critically about it, Jinra makes all the more sense here. Now, in the case of Matt Team, I just feel like they're like, okay, we can try this guy. And there's no actual critical thinking going on, in my opinion.
But then that brings me back to the are the mid to lower tier GCS teams
At least they're trying to think outside the box.
Yeah, it looks to me like they're running into drafting issues. That the top teams in the GCS have like, we have this additional draft ban system down. We understand exactly how to do it. And the middle to lower teams are just like, they get pinched on that last pick. Like that last pick isn't a counter for them. It's a, oh crap, we didn't manage to secure this type of hero.
Right. Well, we did see some of the top teams get into the Crixie kind of wall. They ran
the Crixie crutch.
The Crixie wall. They ran into the Crixie wall where they're like, well, there's nothing left. There are no other mages in this game, apparently.
None of them.
Exactly. Star nearly getting caught out there from a good Rain of Fire here from Xingyi, and nearly a pull from Good decision to flicker out there. I believe it's called Rain of Fire, right? I'm not crazy.
Yes, it's Rain of Fire. And I think that could be so we haven't gotten enough Ignis in my opinion to truly understand the hero to get inside his head. But I think that support play might be the key to him. That he's all about not even support play, he's all about the duo. He's all about what he can get done in conjunction with another hero. Can you help facilitate an Ignis to catch people in ways that they are not prepared for? Now, if you have to do that, then the hero loses a little bit of it. That's part of why I don't put it in this dangerous tier. But we do see Wins taking some damage. Will get stunned up around his tower, but he'll be able to walk away from that. He should be fine. Using coming in on the flank puts a little bit of damage on the Xingyi, but he should be fine. Ohm is going to pull back in using and Benny 13 seconds. This was a really early rotation from Yuzon. I assume they had some other kind of plan. Maybe it was to relieve the pressure on the Wins down in the bottom lane. He has been getting beat up. We haven't talked about the double support, but he did heal.
Yeah, he had to use the
heal. We haven't talked about this being side lane
Chognar, yeah.
Side lane Chog.
Yeah, well, when they meet, obviously the instant they took the Alice, that was going to be the case, and it just hasn't really worked out for them. Part of the problem is that there's been a lot of good rotations here coming from Mad, but that has netted Mad the Abyssal Dragon through all of this, through all of the pressure that they are able to put onto the bottom. Now, the good thing about Fennec, and perhaps the reason why Mad chose the Fennec, is that Fennec can match Lindis or perhaps even beat her sometimes as far as rotations in the jungle. So they didn't want to fall behind. You know what can happen when J-Team gets ahead in those rotations, so maybe they just want to match that. Unfortunately, they get for themselves a much worse team fighter in that regard, so I'm going to be looking forward to see if they can make up for that.
I just think it's a dangerous prospect when your strategy is, okay, we're going to out-macro J-Team.
Well,
even with a compositional advantage.
Well, I think it's even worse than that. Not that they're not even saying we're going to out-macro them. They're saying,
wow, Star takes a lot of damage, gets super low.
Shouldn't you miss the fire crash? Oh my goodness. But the thing is, it's fine. In order to beat J-Team, you have to beat them at something, right? And it might as well be macro if it's going to be anything at all. Wynn's taking a lot of damage here, but them saying that we're going to try to not lose in that, instead of saying we're going to beat them in something else, they're saying we're going to try to not lose so badly in that. It makes me feel pretty bad, but there's a Dark Tomb minion, doesn't really do a whole lot. Benny, Wynn, Star are barely holding onto this tower, so we're actually seeing this double marksman come to be very, very oppressive in this bottom lane at least. But we'll see how long they can keep that up, as Yuzon seems to be waiting the top lane.
Yeah, we've been kind of seeing Neil take a much slower approach, just looking for their exact opportunity to find the play. And that's, I guess, where a lot of this pressure was. You had Neil up towards the top half of the map, putting pressure onto the Kilgroth and fear that he could become a late game monster, but still waiting for J-Team to find their opportunity. And this might actually be it. They put a little bit of damage on a Ronin. That's a good stun that comes out. He'll be able to keep himself alive and relieve some of the pressure, and maybe even start up onto this Abyssal Dragon for the side of J-Team. They are burning it down reasonably quickly. Neil waiting off in the wings, getting poke onto Ronin. That's a pretty deep flank by Ohm.
Look at Ohm.
Ohm is in dangerous territory, but I mean, as far as anybody who could pull it off, Ohm would be the one on the Mina, and that's forced them to have to retreat.
Wow. Just Ohm by himself just scares them away. And look at this, they immediately collapse on. Mad is actually doing a great job macroing this game. And I was going to say earlier, I want to commend Ohm because he is being hyper aggressive. And this is what you need when you have two backliners like this. Double wins. I don't know if that's a good idea, buddy. Does get pulled in by Ohm. Ohm taking a lot of damage.
Benny with the duel!
Oh my goodness, not enough damage from the Alice there. Shinyi, can you take him out? Oh, one more Fire Crash gets him down with the Rain of Fire. That's a great play there from Shinyi. And Neil on the hunt, unable to take him down. But think about this. We have 3 poke heroes on the side of Mad. 3 of them. That just goes to show how great the play of Ohm is. Oh, Neil. To be able to he's protecting all of them at once by just being a big scary Mina in front. And if he were playing a little bit more timid, that would give J-Team more avenues to get to that backline.
Oh, nice hook. Dark Dominion on the Benny, but nobody really in position to be able to follow up on that. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Ohm's positioning there was dead perfect to open up the opportunity. We are seeing Mad take a gold lead against J-Team. Now, J-Team doesn't really have the Flash Wolves factor of, the moment you count them out, things go terrible, or the former Flash Wolves factor. But they are a team that has been able to pull things out of the fire when behind. They dominate with it. They dominate with an advantage, and they make you pay for it with a disadvantage. So I'm not gonna count J-Team out yet, but this is just a more coordinated Mad than I think we've ever seen.
Ooh, takes a Sunshine. Gonna back on out of there. 4 members of Mad rotating over here, but all 5 members of J-Team on the hunt there, and good retreat there from Mad, realizing the situation. Ohm just always in front, always scouting, and just walking forward into all these stuns like no big deal. Yuzon finally joins the fray here, pop speeding bullet. Ohm getting extremely out pull stealing, but she goes down, but at the same time that pull's doing so much damage here as the retaliation is coming in here from Mad. And they scare off the members of J-Team. But at the same time, Bevel's taking down the top tower. So that is... They lose Ohm, but they get the rest of the team low. That opens up a tower and an Abyssal Dragon.
Yeah, despite... I mean, you'll sacrifice a support for 2 objectives any day of the week. And is this... I think this is... This looks like a flustered J-Team. They're a little frustrated. I don't think they've cracked yet by any means. This is game 1 in a series. They're behind by a bit, and things haven't really worked out for them. But
I'll tell you what I think is doing them in, as Neil is doing a lot of damage to Ronin here. Neil is really the only one who's getting anything done here. So look at Wins' build. It's just full support here, even though he's nominally not the support because he doesn't have Essence of the Wind. That's making it so that there's no pressure on the bottom lane. He's getting pushed in. That's forcing the entire geography of the map to kind of cave toward the bottom side, and it's really having these negative repercussions on the rest of the team.
I mean, I guess I'm confused at the Charizard pick now. Like when the Atlas came through, I think we were still focused on other things, or at least I definitely was. We are seeing Soar put some damage.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
put some damage. He's taking this Darkslayer. I actually don't think anyone's going to show up.
Yeah, certainly going to be able to do that, as no one does show up in the end. But yeah, the Chidling Sognar is fine, but you have to build him damage. You have to build him like another mage, right? And just have that chaos protection when you need it. You can't really have 2 supports in your team. That has never worked.
Well, let's hope he builds some damage now. It gets his Frosties, give him something to get in there. Because he's reasonably tanky now. If he gets the right kind of damage, if they can find some team fights, get a little bit of momentum going, he could become a serious threat to that Valheim and to Soar in the backline. It's really hard to say that this is snowballing out of control. Mad has... I joked about it at the beginning. It's like, oh, you're going to out-macro J-Team? They're out-macroing J-Team. They are positioning themselves incredibly well around the map. That's going to be their 3rd Abyssal Dragon in hand. The Enrage coming up in 60 seconds. They still have the Drake. Kilgroth has been basically, like, other than winning that lane at the start, Bevel has been basically unmolested. He is 2 items into a Kilgroth build that just gets more and more annoying as time goes on. They still haven't killed him once yet. They are putting a little bit of pressure on him now, but you're never going to CC the guy. The chase from Neil is eventually going to falter, and now the pressure on the Wins. Ohm stepping underneath the tower is going to be able to tank that up. They've got the minions for the backdoor protection removal, and they've also got the Drake. Stars low. This is starting to fall apart for J-Team to the point where, do we ask ourselves, is Mad going to close this out in convincing fashion? Because I just haven't seen J-Team respond.
Well, you have to just ask, what is J-Team going to do about it, right? And we just haven't seen Neil be able to step up because he doesn't have that front line to be there to protect him. Superman just kind of flies around. You have Alice helping out, but she can't be in that front line. The Chognar can potentially be there, but he's not much of a deterrent as far as getting to that backline. So it just feels like Neil can't get in the damage as he needs, and same goes here for Star.
I feel like we got a little distracted in the middle of the... Oh, wait, Wins goes in, takes some damage, chaos, or doesn't use chaos protection. Does he?
Flicker in?
Yeah, he did. But he's gonzo. Yeah, we got a little distracted at the end of the draft. Not really talking about the Alice. I was looking
at the Alice.
Was up.
Yeah,
Roxy was up. I was like, my brain was like, yeah, they picked Roxy. She's up. It's fine. You've got Chognar support. It's fine.
Yeah. No, I mean, I saw the Alice, and I saw that they had double support, and I was like, well, I guess Alex... I was like, it was one of those, well, it's J-Team, I guess I'll trust them. But certainly hasn't worked out for them, and this bottom high ground tower is going to go down. Using trying to make the most of a bad situation, but it's going to get Dark Dominion and just absolutely demolished with that Holy Embers bringing him down. Mad. 3-1 in kills, by the way. Not a whole lot of fighting, just lots of macro.
I mean, the Fennec doesn't really show any weakness when there's no threat to him.
Exactly.
Like, what's going to go get in his face? We're going to see Bebel pop the Gore Lord and just kind of walk around. They do manage to clear out the waves on the side of J-Team, but...
Wins finally got some damage in somehow as he went to the back line there. You see he's finally building into what looks to be Barrett's Agony, so even more of a hybrid defensive item... Seems like he needs to get that damage in.
If he can get through Barrett's into Frosty's, he becomes a serious threat. But that's going to be the Dark Dominion flicker forward, but it doesn't connect. They still manage to get the hook. That's going to be pressure onto Sora in the backline. They do need to finish him off because Neil is gone. Bevel will be able to dash out. Yuzen didn't decide to continue to chase that, and now he's going to pop. Instantly brought down by that Thief's Mark. There was a little bit of extra damage in there for Shingy for good measure. And that, I guess once Neil died, they didn't think they could do anything. Yuzen might have honestly been able to chase down Sora. He used all of his skills, used all of his dashes, and he was at less than half health. And they just kind of back up, and this is going to be Wins going forward. He gets some decent damage in there. He is reasonably tanky. Minion Wave, again, getting cleared out. So J-Team keeping it competitive, but it is starting to fall to pieces. Granted, Death Timer, 7 seconds on Yuzen. There's going to be the stun onto Sora. Neil is back up. They should easily clear out these waves. And... we're seeing Matt have difficulty finishing the game, but by God, they're still up 8k gold. They still have plenty of power advantage. One good even team fight, and Matt wins it.
Right, and you have to remember that they're fighting 5v5 onto the tower. No real advantage, no other than the gold, right? They don't have any sort of objective. They don't have Dark Slayer. They don't have Abyssal. So the fact that they got pushed back there isn't really... that big of a sign here, especially when you have the hissy fit going out there. The fact they can just put a lot of damage onto those minions coming from J-Team. So I don't know if that's a great sign here from J-Team, but Mad certainly has the opportunity to close this game out. That said, J-Team has first position on the Stark Slayer.
Yeah, they are starting to move out on the map. You always got to worry about that Kilgroth. Yuzen should be able to match him enough at a defensive level. Bevel will still be dictating the pace of that engagement, but it's still better than being blind and having nobody who can even stand up to him. He will be able to clear waves on core, but that means your Superman is sitting defensively on your core. Sora is deep enough into that build where he will destroy a Dark Slayer if given the opportunity. That situation has begun. And now we are starting to see people put a little pressure on Bevel. He's taking some damage, but he'll slide on out of there. Just pops the Gore Lord and scuttles on away. Slithers, I guess.
Everything.
He's like a Naga-ish.
Kind of.
Naga shark.
Well, he by far has the most gold on the side of Mad, so if anyone's going to skedaddle out of there, it's going to be him.
Okay, so more damage coming in for Wins, but I mean, we've been talking about this. It feels a little too late. Maybe the Frosties, like maybe he gets deep into that build and he gets that Frosties, and then he's just ripping Sora apart. Was that an amulet of longevity?
Yeah, on the Kilgroth.
What? I mean, healing effects increased technically works. Nobody's got a Tome of the Reaper or anything to stop you.
It does increase all healing, including his own lifesteal, so that works, I guess.
Sure. Why? You know what? You do you right now, Bevel. Like, you accessorize any way you want. That's a lot of damage on the sword. We're finally starting to see Winds get a little bit more effective, but he'll be dropped low. That Thief Spark puts enough threat onto him that he will have to back up. But
Power's
the wave
dead.
clear is still in for the side of J-Team. Huge stun on the star.
Shinyi!
Dark Dominion on the 4. Hook back in. The ultimate from Shinyi. They bring down... oh, wow. It was only Neil. But everyone else is dangerously low. The base has been broken. Good damage back. Coming out from
GG.
Star, but is that can actually be enough? They clear out the minions, but the members of Mad are there. Mad takes game 1 over J-Team. This is not what J-Team wanted.
A game in which no one ever fights is a Fennec dream, because he can take down towers with ease. We mentioned rotating throughout the map. Now, Fennec and Lindis, they're pretty even when it comes to taking out monsters, taking out minions and the like, but when it comes to killing towers, it's no contest. Lindis is one of the worst in the game, worst marksman in the game, and Fennec is probably the best marksman in the game, which makes him the best in the entire game at taking down towers. So that was the difference there, and if you're not going to fight and you're going to give objectives to your opponents, you're giving the win away.
I guess the question is, did J-Team forget they were playing Alice? Because
that was bizarre. It was, yeah. We didn't talk really enough about the Alice because I just saw it and I was like, well, I guess they're playing Alice. I guess they're playing Chognar Sideline.
I literally it literally didn't even register in my brain at the until we were in game, and I'm looking, and my brain is looking for a Roxy. I'm like, why is the Chognar still bottom? Why hasn't he rotated to support the mid lane? Oh, he's the side laner.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that can work. It's J-Team, but I mean, Mad was handed the perfect opportunity to play, what was effectively a double marksman composition, a comp that can fight but doesn't need to fight, has good lane pressure, has good pushing potential, skirmishes reasonably well, and you would think that J-Team's composition will let them do that just as much, but...
Well, the thing is, why didn't they fight? Here's the question.
Yeah.
Because
they walked away from every Abyssal Dragon fight, too.
Their team is built to fight. Mad's team is built to take objectives. For the most part. They just didn't fight. I don't know why they didn't fight. It's like, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Shinyi has actually been kind of under the radar, but he's been pretty good for a few weeks here. And showed us that he can play Ignis, so there wasn't a whole lot to show there. He was good as far as zoning the members out, and he did get quite a lot of damage. He had like 85,000, I believe, which was like twice as much anyone else. But then again, no one actually fought, so he was the one just throwing out holy embers and saying, "Stay away, stay away."
I dare say I think he could have gotten a similar result on a different mage. I don't think this was a good example of the Ignis.
Okay, well,
like imagine he's got Liliana and he's still whipping shots, like he's just whipping skill shots at them.
Yeah, true. Holy Embers is a really big area though, but okay.
Sure.
On the one hand, I kind of half agree with you. I think that picking him first was fine. I think that setting up the first pick was a little bit more shaky.
Yeah, no, like picking him early is fine, but the Lindis seemed like an unnecessary risk
From J-Team?
because from Mad to let that be the J-Team first pick.
Right.
Because it wasn't like Lindis was shut down. It wasn't like any member of J-Team was shut down. It was the Chognar wasn't effective at all. The Alice was lackluster, and because of that, using constantly was rotating down, and Kilgroth got a bunch of space to farm. There was nobody who was willing to go in and fight.
You could argue that Lindis didn't have an avenue to fight because Ignis kept zoning her out. Could be.
I guess that's true, but she was never behind. Like, honestly, Lindis wasn't really behind. Like, Lindis was behind because of global gold. It wasn't like Lindis got shut down or pressed out of the jungle. There wasn't an issue with getting the farm onto Neil. It was literally just the fact that they never fought, so Lindis never got a chance to do damage. Went bot a couple times, put pressure onto the Valheim, and possibly almost killed him twice. Like, Neil was an effective source of damage, just no opportunity to affect said damage.
Mm.
I don't think he got oppressed, so I feel like the Lindis still was an unnecessary yield in favor of the Ignis, because the Ignis we didn't see the Ignis do anything insane. We saw the Ignis be constantly ahead in gold because his team was getting objectives.
The more I think about it, I think our first guess was the best guess as to why J-Team got completely shut out. Is the Alice pick, one, and then the subsequent decision to not build damage on Chognar.
Yeah.
So what happened was, when you look at that game again, who stood out at the beginning of the game? It was Ohm. Ohm was zoning everyone out. And you think, like, well, how can one hero zone everyone out? Because they didn't have any damage. So
yeah, there was no threat. There was no threat to Ohm. And then, like, Chognar, sadly, Chognar does his best work when he's threatening your backline.
Right. So exactly. So Chognar, he didn't have any reason to go in the backline because he had no damage, and he didn't use his energy surge to get in that backline. And then on top of that, if it was any other hero, any other typical sideline hero, all of that zoning, all of that being up in your face by Ohm would have gotten more easily punished if they just collapsed onto him. So everything really comes down to the combined decision to play double support and not build one of them damaging. But
yeah, like if that's Roxy, Ohm's walking in there like, "Hi guys, I'm here. I'm a tanky support," and Roxy's like, about you being tanky, I don't think so, friend. And Mad just got Cricknack through that drafting. They put enough that this is the Ignis problem. Is if somebody gets him, they think that the Ignis was the issue, and I actually think J-Team just screwed up massively, because I would have let Mad have Ignis. I would have left that up and banned the Cricknack, because you just handed them the most dangerous jungler in the game.
So, sorry to change subjects, but I was looking at that sign, and apparently Star's name in Chinese is Star. Maybe you need two characters to fill out your name in I don't know. Anyway.
2 stars?
2 stars. Because it said mid laner, and I was like, who's the mid laner? Oh yeah, Star. I'm like, oh yeah, that's his Star, but there's 2 stars. Anyway.
Star has a Michelin 2-star rating.
Something like that. He does have a crown. And J-Team, despite all their insignia, they are losing this match currently to Mad. They take away the Valheim, which was an issue last game.
But was it the issue? Like, the Valheim was proper. That I think is one of the things that I don't know I've seen be adapted in Arena of Valor is, like, consistent play out of a player on a hero sometimes looks like great play from the player.
When your team is falling apart, right?
When your team, yeah, like it looks more impressive than it was. It was by no means bad. That was proper Valheim play. He was rarely under pressure. The one time he got pressured by the Lindis, he flickered, and every other time he was farming, showing up to the team fights. It was good. Ronan did exactly what he was supposed to do. But all you really got out of this is Liliana. Now the Roxy I like more because you've now given yourself some frontline.
Wait a second.
Him Cricknack, Omen, Mina.
Wait a second. What hero have we not seen so far?
The Ebeneth.
Where's the tree? What is going on?
That's
Guys.
where the Valheim. That's where the Valheim looks like an overcompensation to me. Is I like the Roxy a bit more. You realize you left it up, but like I swear to God, J-Team forgot about it last game. But you didn't pick up Ebeneth. You gave Ohm his Mina. You gave Swore Cricknack, and there's an Omen on the other side, which is going to match up okay up against the Roxy. Yeah, the Roxy does better. That's a nice counter pick there. But still, Omen is still a significant threat across multiple team fights. Now you're looking at the Ebeneth being banned out from the side of Mad. You can take away Ebeneth and another priority jungler because you didn't pick your jungler in that rotation for the side of J-Team. They could take Zephys, Murad, Lindis was already off the board. I'm afraid that Neil is going to lean into the Fennec. I'm afraid that they're going to leave up Fennec, and that's going to come through.
You think J Team's gonna pick Fennec?
Yeah, I think Mad. If I'm Mad, I'd ban Zephys this next rotation and make J Team pick Fennec. Because what other jungler are they going to play?
We went over this last time. They could pick. I mean, just pick like a Zephys for God's sake. It's just like.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Ban Zephys right now. Like, if I'm Mad, I ban Zephys, and then they're going to pick Omen. They're going to pick Fennec. And they're probably not going to lean into something
Wait. What is this Crixie ban?
You've taken Raz off board, and people still believe that Crixie is the third tier down the list.
Well, Mad better pick Jinnar. Because
Yeah, I mean, if Mad picked Jinnar, then they're just like, whew, we have outthunk you, good sir. Like, they took Nakaroth off the board because they're trying to reduce the number of junglers, and I don't think like Mad isn't even thinking about Zephys there.
Right. Well, J Team still gets Yevoneth, which is how many picks
Good.
into the
That's good. I don't know how we got there, but that's good.
It's 15 picks into the draft. 15 picks in the draft. Yevoneth goes. I don't even know what's happening right now. I feel like our picks are better than our bans. It's like, why are they banning? I don't understand.
Yeah, they've been banning for. Dude, there's the Fennec. I told you. It's no, don't play Marksman Jungler. Jet, Emily? No.
Who would jungle in that case, right? It would be.
Yeah.
It would be Valheim?
Yeah, just pick the Zephys. It's just so much better. Rourke, he might even just be better. Just like, don't pick the Fennec. Don't put yourself in that scenario where you're running double Marksman, even though everyone believes that Valheim is a tank now.
I do like this better than like a Murad, for instance, though.
Murad would get shut down.
I've become the biggest Murad and Nakaroth hater over the course of these games. It just never works. But in any case, I do go for the Slims. It doesn't feel good in my stomach.
Oh no, it's definitely better than Nakaroth, but significantly worse than Zephys because Sora's gonna eat Neil Star and wins alive. Like, I understand that the on-hit Valheim has become the meta on that character, and that's fine. But people pick him like he's a control tank. They're like, yeah, we're going to get all of this range control. And he's effectively... he's still vulnerable to a diving assassin.
The one thing I want to say about Mad is the Natalia pick is weird to me.
Feels out of place.
Right, because you have the Mina. I get it. But that's all you have. And Crickneck and Superman are going to be causing so much havoc that people are going to be inadvertently dodging her stuns and spells. Because
that's the Jinnar pick right there. Jinnar looks 10 out of 10 there.
Right.
Because he just joins the team in the dive, and that's one nasty death ball between Crickneck, Jinnar, Superman, Mina, Omen. Like, something's gonna die.
Right.
Real goddamn quick.
Well, the thing is, with the Natalia, if she gets picks at the beginning of the game, it could look great, and they can completely snowball another game.
She's there for the Yevoneth. But she's there for the Yevoneth. That's why.
Right. True. That is true.
And it's not a bad answer to the Yevoneth. It's just. For Mad, I see problem. Yeah, for Mad, I see problems with Natalia unless she's fed. If she's fed, she's going to be throwing out skill shots, and her damage is just going to mount up.
That said, I kind of take back what I said, because if she does multi Yevoneth, there's nothing there, because Roxy has no HP anymore, so they're all just going to die. If Shinyi just melts the Yevoneth and that's all he does, then J-Team's just gonna fall like dominoes. So
I mean, already getting pulled back in is that Yevoneth. He's taking some additional damage. I know we're watching Neil, but I'm watching that mini map. There's a Redwood rush forward. Outputs a little bit of damage. So like, they're already ready to beat up on Benny. They're all ready to pick that fight.
Right, and since he's the support and not the side laner, there's nothing there. Like I mentioned, he's all that stands between them and certain death. And yeah, if he goes down, imagine just the havoc that will be created between Superman and Kriknak diving your backline. Oh no. It would be problematic to say the least. All right, here it comes. Here goes Source. Going on to Benny. Gets pulled in. Good night, Benny. Oh my goodness. I've never seen a tree get burned down so quickly.
That's that sweet 130 first blood.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it every game, especially when there's a Kriknak in the game. He's just ready. And the key to victory for J-Team is get some god tier picks from Yuzon. Yuzon has to get god tier picks.
Yeah, I agree.
Like he has to be doing well. He has to be a threat. And they need to be so ready to shut down Kriknak. Yes, Mad could chain some deaths. Mad could end up in a bad scenario. They've got really good objective control with J-Team, having those double marksman composition.
Bush Party.
The hook onto Benny. Some additional damage goes through. He hasn't died yet. He's eating massive damage from that dragon, but that's going to be Ohm who gets caught out. And Yuzon, I said he needed to make god tier plays. He makes at least one. Still has that Agni's grasp. So if they find a really good opportunity, they find Sword diving underneath the tower. He's going to die as well. Mad chain deaths. They hand J-Team the one thing they needed.
Yeah, very sloppy play there from Mad, going 3v5 at this crucial moment. And Sword tried to dive under the tower for Benny, but got hit by the blinding light and shining light from Star on the backside, so ended up trading out your jungler for support, not what you want to have. And Mad, they have the better comp. They have the game plan in order to take out J-Team, but they need to not give away kills like that.
Yeah, that's how you lose. You just chain unnecessary deaths into J-Team and give them an opportunity. Now they're ahead in terms of gold. They're threatening this might buff. It'll go over to Sora at the end of the day, but at least they're being significantly annoying. But that's the pullback in the Death's Embrace. That's a dead wins. He's keeping them mildly busy. But nobody from the side of J-Team is around to be able to answer that. That's going to be a hook from Oman to Benny. But I don't really see this turning into much. Actually, the minions are there. Underneath the tower, Sword goes in, gets off the auto attack, baits out the Nature's Realm. So that'll give them some opportunity. And now a massive migration mid if Neil and Yuzon show themselves. That's going to be the Agni's Grasp used, but it didn't turn into anything.
That was weird. Superman shouldn't be able to purify out of that.
Yeah, I don't know what that interaction is. Maybe it missed.
Maybe he purified it.
Yeah, he does have purify, so he might have pre.
You have to, because otherwise it shouldn't. Yeah. That shouldn't be purifiable.
Yeah. Okay. So he probably pre-purified that. We're gonna roll with that unless we see a nice little instant replay. I mean,
that if he did, then that's great reaction time.
Yeah, that's some top tier. That's some top tier mechanics.
Well, that said, Yuzon does take this Spirit Sentinel for his side. Abyssal Dragon up in 20 seconds. One thing that's scary here for J-Team is that Neil did go into the War Boot, so if he gets pulled back, pushed back by that Superman, could be in real trouble here. Wins, gets pulled in, gets Death's Embrace, gets Dark Dominion as well. Maybe a bit of overkill there. Ohm has to get out of there, but does get out alive as 4 were collapsing over.
That's some Sonic boots. That's actually really, really good early game optimization from him. I mean, I was harping on how Valheim's not really a tank, but that item at the beginning of the game, 5 minutes in, you're reducing a lot of auto attack damage. It's basically all that Ronin is bringing to the table. So good item choice by Wins to mitigate what J-Team brings to the table if they don't have Shingy in that fight. Like if he's not there to burst somebody down, that's a good pickup. But we do see very quick Abyssal Dragon is going to go to members of Mad. Benny? That's some massive damage out of Shingy. Benny melts.
Oh my goodness. Well, Shingy wants to create some forest fires this game apparently because he's been all over Benny on that tree. Benny, speaking of which, Benny getting extremely low here. When trying to help him out, but does go down in the end. And well, before I say anything, Wins goes down as well. Oh my goodness, Matt is just jumping onto them. Now, we talked about Natalia, but really, any sort of burst damage is a sort of pseudo-counter to Ibanez. Because what he wants to do is just sustain through all these fights. But if you can kill him with something like a Kriknak...
Star, do you want this? Star, do you want this? Well, Sora goes way too deep for that. He'll get away. He'll get away. Nobody ever gets hit
Use
with
on,
breaking
use on.
Fusion. Xingyi is bringing forth.
Look at that laugh.
The play. Yeah, no, he's like,
Got him.
you know, think I got him. Think.
Oh my goodness.
Charge it!
Benny?
He's firing the
Benny?
lasers. That's going to be the stun. Actually, the stun misses onto Benny. He will walk away from that one. But this is a full court press from the members of Mad, hitting in every lane, basically instantaneously, finding multiple kills, up 2,000 gold. Good stun on Xingyi. Neil showing his presence, but going to need a little bit more than that to bring him down. And honestly, is Soar. I'm looking at Soar, man. Like, don't give these Taiwanese players crick knack. Just don't do it. Like, future AIC competitors, don't do it. You're looking to lose.
Oh my god, Yuzen gets pulled in, gets Dark Dominion. Yuzen has to pop that blazing shield in order to get out of there. Now, I know that these are different compositions from last game, but at least from the side of J Team, they're pretty similar. As to Mads, I mean. And in both games, Mad has been the aggressor. When they had the objective taking comp, they were aggressive taking those objectives and trying to avoid team fights. Now when they're on the opposite side, they're aggressively seeking out team fights from J-Team, knowing that they don't have exactly the objective taking comp, but they have the people killing comp. And so that's what they're going for. And they realize their win condition, and J-Team is suffering because of it.
That's going to be a stun. Doesn't actually connect. What we're seeing is... okay, there's going to be some damage on Ohm. They did use the Agni's Grasp. They get another slow on him, but no willingness to commit. Dive onto wins. They get the Death's Embrace. He's pretty much dead no matter what. The question is, will Ronan survive? Ronan does survive. Jukes out the shot, but he will be brought down from over the side of the wall. Here comes Bevel to put in a little bit of pressure, using going forward. Benny looking for his opportunity. Doesn't actually find it, and that's actually going to be Bevel using the ultimate to just kind of annoy them and guarantee the tower for Mad. But I guess my point is Mad has bodies and J-Team doesn't. When you run that double marksman, when you run that Valheim, when you run that Slims, you do not have the bodies to go get in your opponent's face. And the side of Mad, they've got health bar to spare.
Well, until this moment, that is. They were trying to take down the Dark Slayer. Sora unfortunately took way too much damage. There are 4 members here from J-Team, and Yuzun coming over as well, so man has to be careful. They can't have any more throws like they did at the beginning of this game when they fought 3v5. But they do back off, and look at that gold chart. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, it's getting out of control. It's so hard. It looks so hard for J-Team to extract a price from Mad's mistakes.
Oh, Benny!
And Benny is just going to start to get burned down. He will eventually stun out Xingyi. That's going to be a secondary stun, but there is enough of a collapse. Actually, Red would rush away, plus a good shield. Ronan is going to go in deep, manages to lock up Star. They're looking for a really good flank, but goes
oh my god, Star!
Huge damage coming in from Star. And here goes Bevel on the backside. He gets Neil. Can he get a second one? He's going to dive. Puts damage on the Star, but Star jukes him to the left, jukes him to the right, gets a shining light, and Yuzin will be able to possibly chase him down. No, you cannot catch the Man of Steel. In the meantime, Wins cleans up the rest of the fight, picks up some additional kills. So we do see Mad for the second time this game overcommit.
Second time this game, they took a 3v5, and 2 of the key heroes in trying to fight, Superman and Kruknak, were not there. They're the ones who create that havoc in the back lane, or on the backside of J-Team. And without them, there is easy pickings jumping on to those 3 members. So you gotta fight with your whole team, man. Come on. Well, Ronan gets a pull onto Yuzin. Probably not going to be a whole lot. Actually, I think he's trapped on the backside. That's a lot of damage onto Ronan himself, but Ohm is here to help out. Tower will not fall. So it's still 9-5 at the moment, as far as towers are concerned.
Yeah, that was Mad pulling the trigger a little bit too early, and we see honestly the first major mistake from them, where now the gold is even. Advantage lost. Towers? Advantage for Mad, but that's just golden experience on the map that hasn't been accrued by the members of J-Team. They will get the first one out of the top. They're now looking to put some pressure on the Abyssal Dragon. They did take one Abyssal Dragon in the early portion of the game, so they've not been completely bamboozled out of opportunities, but Soar waiting in the wings, and now we're seeing a little bit of a split. Omen is more than enough threat for this Roxy. I don't know who's going to win that based solely on the items. I guess Yuzin with that Agnes grasp into just some burn is enough for him to get the job done. But it's going to be the macro play from Mad. They're going to take the Darkslayer.
Yeah, you saw J-Team beelining over, but a little bit too late here. Yeah, Yuzun takes that. Actually gets Dark Dominion just for good measure so that there wasn't anything there. But Benny's going to be pushing up onto Shinyi. Not going to be able to take her out, though. And they pull Benny back into here. Actually,
the double pull.
Yeah, pops his Nature's Realm, but unable to take out Shinyi. And that's a somewhat sizable ultimate cooldown used there. Now, Mad has barely much of a gold lead at all, but if they can make use of this Darkslayer buff and the Drake that goes with it, they can open up the map and make it so that it's extremely hard for J-Team to contest them onto the Abyssal.
Okay, so something just very important happened. Sor finished the Fenrir's Tooth. That's really important when it comes to how quickly these engagements can turn and that damage spiking, and they might be about to get the second team fight buff, but it is so close. Are they going to be able to punish it away? They do, but that's a good Dark Dominion. Shinyi has been caught. Shinyi has been brought down. He gets healed back up against Star. Jukes out Sor. That's fairly significant, but we do see Omen on the other side of the map. They are starting to try an angle on the ability for the members of J-Team to be able to get back into this.
Sor?
The rotation back in, but Sor gets brought super low. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we do see Ohm and Bevel duking it out with wins. They're not going to kill him. Sor will go down, but they will end up trading 2 plus the Drake they were holding onto for a high ground tower. Kind of looks like Mad is getting a little bit desperate when it comes to closing out games, because let's be real, they haven't had that many games to legitimately close out.
They've got a few wins to the side as of late. But Sor didn't need to die. If you saw on the split screen there, he was trying to protect Ronin, but Ronin's an Omen. He can get away just fine. And Ronin, speaking of which, taking a lot of damage in this mid lane. Putting pressure is J-Team. Here comes out the full combo from Shinyi. Take out Benny, but Omen's going to go down instead. Tries to just use all his cooldowns while he's doing that. Agnes Grasp comes out, doesn't get a kill. But this is J-Team clapping back here, trying to push up onto Mad and being actually very successful here, taking out multiple towers. Superman somewhere in the mid doing something. This could be actually the end of the game if Mad doesn't handle this correctly. But looks like J-Team is going to back off. Sword takes a big spear to the face as he jumps in, nearly goes down. These are the types of mistakes that lose you games, Mad. I don't know what you're doing, but this is not the way to go about it.
I mean, now you're staring down the barrel of an even game into a double marksman composition. It should never have gotten this far. This is almost a full build Slims. It should never have gotten this far. This is almost a full build Valheim. It should never have gotten this far.
And you look at that gold situation. It actually, the funny thing is, look at the top part of that axis. That's only 2,000. This game has been so close as far as the gold has been concerned the entire time. And look how funny that is. They take the Abyssal, at the end of that graph, they took the Abyssal and their gold lead just vanished, which it's not supposed to happen, usually. But
no.
This game has been just nuts, and Mad just needs to take a proper 5v5 team fight. I feel like we're in solo queue all over again. Push that rally button. Come on, guys. Can we group up for a team fight?
Yeah, and I talked about Sor getting that Fenrir's. I was like, this is a key moment, because if he finds that kill, that damage is going to be explosive. It's going to be mildly unexpected. You never feel like you don't get hit with 30% extra damage all of the time. So you're never prepared for when a Cricknack is going to spike in on you and just pop a target. And he hasn't been going after Neil. He's been putting all this pressure on the Star. I mean, yeah, you can burn Star, but...
Well, one thing to keep in mind as well is that Yebuneth has a decent amount of magic defense right now, and she is not farmed at all for where she should be at this part of the game. Neo out taking a lot of damage there, but she can definitely not take out Benny here if Benny pops Nature's Realm. So that's not something they can rely on anymore, and so Shinyi, really all of the usefulness of her has been diminished because you can't...
Oh, this angling is huge. Wait, He slowed down. He honestly could have cut them off at the knees. Is going to get some pullback onto Benny. They're deciding to try and finish off one of these targets. They
Ronan?
do. Actually, they keep going in the backline. Ronan is taking massive amounts of damage. He needs backup. He
Star?
needs someone that's going to be damage on the Star, but they should not be able to finish him off. Actually, a dive in by Bevel, but Bevel hasn't finished the job. Here comes Star at the angle. Stunning from Neil. The spear connects. That's going to be huge for them. As they should be able to chase onto Benny, they'll get the second life out of him. And just slight miscoordination. The timing fell off, and Ronan went way too deep. Mad bite off more than they can chew.
Soar and Xingyi cannot take out Benny by themselves at this point, and they think they can, and that really cost them that fight as they were out of position. Benny just being a nuisance once more. They just had to ignore him at this point, bait out the Nature's Realm, and then try to take out everyone else, but there's going to be pressure onto the core here. Can they take it out? Bevel's taking a lot of damage. She's going to go down immediately. Still minions available here as 2 marksmen are there. Great Dark Dominion from Ohm. Wind flickers out. He's going to be safe here, but Ohm, man, ends up going down in the end. Benny's in deep, but all the minions are gone. Benny's going to die to this death's embrace here. So good job by Ronan, at least keeping the side of Mad alive, but I don't know how long they can hold out here with all of this pressure on, and one instant onto the core, and J-Team will probably take it out because of this double marksman.
I mean, Mad had all the right pieces in place. They were beating J-Team in macro, beating them in aggression, taking additional advantages, finding the right objectives. And then
this is nice, though.
No, yeah, this is a good answer back by them to kind of balance out things, get that team fight buff in their hands. But
yeah, Sora needs to take that. So the thing is, their plan to assassinate Benny has not worked. Or it worked in the beginning of the game, and it's just not working right now. They have to just bait out Nature's Realm and then ignore him and try to kill everyone else, because
they have to kill Neil. They're not killing Neil at all. They're putting all their pressure on the Star for some strange reason, and Neil is just like, okay, guys, I'm full build Slims. I'm just chill back here, throw spears, and it looked like they were trying to find them around the blue buff and hoping someone would rotate down and in. And they're waiting. Wait. They get the hook onto Yuzan. That's some good damage in there, but they do need to burn him through. And they get the Andy's grasp onto Soar. Soar's gonna get brought down. He's obliterated instantly. Here comes Star with the additional damage. The Reiki shot is gonna connect. Pops. And J-Team have found their opportunity. Drake into the bottom half of the map. We've got the members of Mad just moving around the map, trying to reduce the number of super minions, just crawling into their base.
Can Xingyi hold off this wave at the bottom? She does have lethal ray. She does have her full combo to be able to do this, as long as she doesn't get a spear. That's step 1 to take that out. Bevel taking a lot of damage here. Only the Drake. Here come a lot more minions. Can they take these out? Here is the preemptive Nature's Realm, and that means that Ronan's going to go down as well. He doesn't take anyone with him.
And and he dies back. He uses up that charge. Stun on the Shingy. Damage on the Shingy. He stops for the lethal raise.
Bevel
goes
one
in.
more minion. They took out the minion.
Nope.
But
still no. Oh, Soar? No, he doesn't have lives. He doesn't have lives to get the job done. He's gonna res back in a second, but it's too many bodies. It's too many bodies over too much time for the side of J-Team, and dear God, just Mad crumbled.
You know what the funny thing is? A lot of the time, you and we will kind of subconsciously root for one team over the other. I felt myself rooting for Mad because that should have been a win for them.
No, that should have been a win. They had all the right pieces in place, and then they took one team fight in mid they didn't need to. Ohm got a little too aggressive. Ronan dove a little too deep. They got a little too hyphy, and just it fell apart. And a better team times that just right by the second. It pulls together at the right moment, and that looked like Mad trying to pull off a 200 IQ play they saw a pro team do on stream, and then they're trying to replicate it in their solo queue game. Like, it was just that kind of off. Like, you know all the pieces, but you don't have the rhythm. You know all the steps, but you don't have the rhythm.
Right, and just things fell apart so much at the end there. You take a look at Xingyi's damage, but that just wasn't the story at all. She needed to be way more than that. The damage wasn't enough, which meant that Soar and Bevel and Ronan and crew couldn't get their damage in because Xingyi wasn't taking out the front lines. And Yeah, as bad as this looked for Soar, as bad as this looked for the Crickneck, it feels like
I don't
it
put this
was.
on Soar.
Yeah,
Soar, I think Soar. I mean, Soar's targeting was a bit off, but I think J Team just collapsed on him way too hard once they got tanky
right.
enough.
And the thing is, yeah, it's just it felt like Shingy needed to take out or needed to be more farmed to be able to take out Yebeneth and Benny.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
since that didn't happen, it made it so much harder. Their entire strategy revolved around blowing up the front line, and they could not blow up the front line.
It just felt like one, he ended up going to the Arctic Orb, which I don't agree with. I think you needed to find like that needed to be like a staff of Newell. You just needed to like burn him to the ground, and
right, because
it comes out.
he got a few combos off, right?
Yeah, no, there were times where he full comboed him. It's just that fight in mid, and then the subsequent lack of gold channeled onto this play right here. So just a little off, just like 1 second. Look how much damage Sora did. Look at how much damage Bevel did. Like, they have that in a better scenario, and then, Valheim cut them down later. Here's another example of that, where Shingy just needed a little bit more damage, and because he didn't have it, because of those deaths, that timing, that pressure in the mid, him not getting waves to farm, he doesn't finish a Staff of Newell or something else, so that he was almost at that damage break point. It was close.
The more I watched those fights, he wasn't being aggressive enough, in my opinion. And I know it seems weird to be aggressive to step forward as Natalia, but he really needed to be the bait, right? If people are jumping the Natalia, they're out of position. And that makes it a lot easier to take out the back line. Because the thing is, Natalia just wasn't stepping up. She was just, like, the entire team fight's here. She's just trying to fling shots from here. So everyone else is like, okay, I'll just dodge those. You're too far for me to even worry about you. And so all the fighting's going over here. Superman's trying to do his thing. And so everyone's just ignoring Natalia. And yes, she didn't die, but I would argue that she needed to die more. Because that would have put some of the pressure off of Superman. You gotta play within your team construct, right? And if all of the pressure is on the rest of your team, you need to be killing them, or you're not doing your job, right? She either need to be the bait or the one killing them, and she was neither. And Superman,
she couldn't be afraid to die.
Right, exactly. So
you never want to die, but you can't have the fear in you that you're going to, so you don't take the opportunity to find the play. And we get some hot, quick bans come through, and J Team end up with the Ignis. The Lindis makes it through for Mad. Cricknack, Yebeneth, Raz, Richter, all gone. Lindis, Liliana for the side of Mad. Do they lean into that?
People are really
Lindis,
going
Val?
back into the Valheim.
No.
It's working.
He's not that good. No.
He's 2-0 today.
No.
He's 2-0 today.
Not that good. I have yet to see the Valheim be under any kind of pressure.
That's true.
Like, the Valheims are just getting to chill.
Yeah. Although it could have some unnoticed results so far. Where the stuns come onto the Cricknack, the stuns come onto the guy trying to dive you, and then they die, even though the Valheim doesn't really get credit for the damage or what have you. But
I'm not convinced of that solely because
she nearly spit out her coffee trying to cover her face there. Oh my god! Did she spit out the coffee onto the production room? What's going on? No.
The fan took out production. Like that reaction caused a chain reaction in the production room where someone else spit out their coffee, and then that hit a monitor, and now the whole production is ruined.
Oh my god! Yeah, she saw that. She's like, "Oh my god, I can't be drinking coffee on stream." And yeah, it wasn't good. You can drink coffee on stream; it's okay. I do it all the time, even though this is technically Coke. But
I mean,
sponsored by Buff.
Yeah, and maybe it's because she wasn't drinking a Buff. If she'd be drinking a Buff, it would have been fine.
It's like Red Bull. Like, no, what are you doing?
Man. There's a time where I left my Red Bull on the table in broadcast, and just like
Oh,
like
no.
a signal from the camera guy, and I'm just staring. I just stare directly into the camera,
Oh
pick
my
it
God.
up, place it down with a
No.
smile, and just didn't say anything. I looked directly into the camera when I did it. I was just
I
like,
could just see like
Hi.
the main the camera guy going, okay, we're going live in 3, 2, and then there's like this random guy who notices it and just and
that's
just jumps in front of the
He
camera.
just points. He just points. He's just like, just like pointing at the Red Bull. I'm like, and we're and like the host is like, and we're back, and I'm just hi.
I would
Just, like the most affixed smile to my face.
right, but I like to imagine the more dramatic version where some random camera guy comes from the side and just like jumps in front of the camera as they go live, as you guys go live. It's like, no, don't show the Red Bull on stream. Yeah, I know how that is. Actually, as a player and a commentator, I know exactly how it is having to remove all the stuff from like water bottles. So
Yeah, water bottles. The worst is when you're trying to move your setup, and then like you're like picking up your setup, and the other team's kind of moving in a little bit early, and they getting a little impatient, and there's like you accidentally leave a water bottle like underneath the chair or something.
I've left water bottles. They're still probably my water bottles in random events. 'Cause I go through so many water bottles and probably drink like only like half of what I get because I'm always I'm grabbing.
You never actually get through the full drink. Like you drink some of it and then you lose the water bottle because you're so wrapped up in what's going on.
Well, we can come back to the 2-0 Valheim. The best hero in the game. And we this is the triggering. This game is the triggering for the source because the Malik has been picked and Marja hasn't. So although I'm fine with Liliana here, especially because
no, I think
Natalia
that's a
wasn't
smart way. That's a smart way to pick it because then you're forcing Mad into the bottom of the barrel in terms of mage, not the bottom of the barrel, but you're forcing them off a power pick mage, and so sacrificing the Malik into the Marja to own the mid lane matchup. If they don't pick the Liliana, because then you can ban the Liliana second rotation because Raz is already off the table. I'm totally okay with that. Like this is a scenario where it's
that's
like
what they were thinking.
Yes, the Marja is still a definite problem, but J Team, you made Mad make a choice of lane control there, so now the Malik is going to have an even matchup because you can just ban out the Marja, or in theory pick it yourselves if they don't take an extra rotation. But if you leave it up, honestly, Mad should.
Well, it's Mad's ban right now, so what is okay? Looks like we're doing a run on kind of side lanes, kind of supports at the moment. Now, Mad doesn't have the Chogner to pick from because it was banned here. And I'm curious to see what they lean towards as far as their personal support is concerned. Owen banned out as well. So,
okay.
Mad need a beefy support and a beefy side laner. Marja doesn't really... Yeah, you know what? I don't think they can pick Marja here.
Yeah, they can't. They don't own a front line. Kill's a really good option. Kilgoth just he's going to get unbearable if given the time. But yeah, what do you still pick as that last pick? And the Xenial taken away would give them really strong front line, great engage, and kind of take away that pseudo support from the side of Mad. And I mean, I'm okay with the Zill. I prefer you went Slims over Violet.
What frontline supports are even there anymore? It's like, speaking of Mad, I mean, it's like
Lumber,
Crushed, Thane.
Crushed. Where's the Crush been?
The Crush doesn't really fit their lineup though, because he pops Metamorphosis and there's no follow up really.
I mean, the synergy's not there, but it's an option.
I think you Lumber. Just, as weird as it is, I think you'd rather go Thane here just to be a big booty in front.
Oh yeah, Thane. Yeah, Thane. I forget that Thane is back into meta.
Oh, speaking of big booty,
Oh, oh boy.
I don't think that's a good pick, though. I'd rather have the Thane in this situation.
We're getting creative. Yeah, no.
Because the Thane is like, okay.
In a world where I want to say Thane is the pick, but
The thing is,
Thane over Grok.
there's
for
three.
sure.
Well, there's more than three types, but as far as what we're talking about here, there's three types, ostensibly speaking, right? There's the set up a play by yourself with as a support. That's the Mina Grak, right? Unfortunately, it's hard to set that kind of stuff up. And then there's like the back to protect the carry, which is kind of like this Annette, but something like an Alice. But the Lumber is more of a kind of hybrid front line, but also protect the back line. And then the Annette gets slotted in. But then the thing is, Thane is kind of like in between, where he can protect, but he can also be an initiator. He's not great at either, but the fact that he can do all things kind of reasonably well is what makes him valuable here. But they do go for the Annette, and
So what you're saying is Thane protect and Thane attack.
something like that. Were there 4 C's in that sentence? I don't even know.
there were 4 C's in that sentence.
Well, speaking of CC, Mad has a lot of it, but they don't have any sort of front line, so
It's gonna all be about positioning. No. They have a second tank. It's the Valheim, because Valheim is a tank now. Oh.
No, I don't see this working.
No, I bet you. So, to the point where it makes sense, running him as a controlled mage with running him as a control-esque marksman with a high damaging melee jungler like a Cricknack. You find the AD, you find the opportunity to drop towers. It doesn't have to necessarily be in sieging. That is where I find that this Valheim has a place as this sort of pseudo bruiser range control character.
I'm talking about the net though, because
But that's what I'm saying is I think they're comfortable picking the net because they believe that Kilgroth is a bruiser and that Valheim is a bruiser. Because you go double slope, because you go
I don't see it.
Yeah, because you go Frostcape and
well, that's ignoring the fact that they don't have any natural frontliners.
no, they don't. They don't. They're playing this off of wind wall positioning, control, CC, counter engage.
Right.
They're looking to bait in the members of J Team, hit them with a bunch of damage and stuns, and then punish the people who step out of place. And I think it's too. It could work. It could totally work, but I think it's too ambitious.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, what I'm talking about is they're going to give away a free Abyssal in the beginning of the game because they're not going to have Wind or Hurricane Wall for Ohm. When that comes up, and
I don't think they see it that way. I think they see it as they're going to poke them out and then force them to have to back up.
Well, for their
I don't
sake.
agree. I agree with you. But I'm like trying to figure out where their strategy holds water, and it holds water from the perspective that if you land the right amount of stuns, you have a double marksman composition and therefore can burn through the Abyssal Dragon if given the opportunity, like they did in Game 1. We saw that happen in Game 1, where they would just poke and zone and find like the weirdest opportunity to make that happen. They had Mina to do that with in Game 1, but I think that's what they're thinking.
The one thing we haven't talked about is the final pick of Violet here from the side of J Team, and I think this is genius because if you're looking at all this poke from Mad, how do you outpoke someone? Just poke them from farther away. So you pick at the Violet. She's going to be raining tactical fires down. She's certainly holding water, literally, in that skin. And she's going to be able to just consistently get that damage off. And there's not a whole lot that Mad can do about it. And that's where you answer the poke. Now, the bad thing about that is that you get these awkward situations in the late game where you don't have the jungle item to their side. But that said, Ohm taking a lot of damage here. The Rain of Fire coming up from Star doing a lot of CC to helping out that side, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. As we're all collapsing onto this Abyssal Dragon. But speaking of collapsing, Mad gets in there too. They take it down, however. Neil, good wind cuffs here to put them together, but Ohm is in a lot of trouble. Eats a huge Holy Embers and goes down.
So that's what we saw. We saw Mad group up to try and play the poke game and hope they would poke down J-Team faster than J-Team to finish the dragon. And have you seen that jungle adaptation from Neil? Because you're going to have that late game jungle item. He went with Scorching Wind. He's accepted the fact that he's going to be less effective as a jungler in terms of his overall damage, but he's taking the jungle item to guarantee that he gets that additional attack speed. So now I could see him avoiding going into Slick Sting until a later item because he doesn't necessarily need the attack speed, or maybe
think
even
he
go
never-
Blow of Slaughter for that to be his double crit opportunity.
I don't know if he ever goes the second crit item. I think with Violet, a lot of the time, you poke so often that even just having that 30% or 25% as it were is fine. So I think that's what you think. Wow, Miss Malleus there, which means Yuzon's taking a lot of damage. He could actually go down if they play this right. More damage coming out from Sora. Yuzon.
Properly done.
Wow.
That was good.
Was insane. And the reason why he fell there, obviously the Miss Malleus, but on top of that, the Might buff is so massive there when you can get that. And this puts a wrench in J-Team's plans. They weren't expecting Yuzon to die there. And now they have to risk their positioning.
Have
Shingy.
Star walk right into Shingy. He's going to go instantly on top of him, but they don't stun him out. Shingy was still in Fox form. That looks like an opportunity missed.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because Star is going to be able to heal back up once he starts attacking there. Bevel taking some damage. So is Soar. As they're deep in the territory. In comes the Angelic Splendor. Bevel trying to stay alive. Neil still around here for those tactical fires. And they scare them off with just a couple of members.
That was still the right response because you saw how low Sora was, and Bevel had already popped the Gore Lord, so he doesn't have that in his pocket to keep him safe. I think that's the proper response for Mad to back away from that. Go back to your rotations, go back to your movement, because you need to be getting around that map.
Oops.
I mean,
sorry. Yuzon, he just lost his shield out of nowhere. Anyway, so yeah, and rating now is J-Team very ambitious on their side. Can they get the big wind cuffs and the Hurricane Wall to split up members? There is the Dark Dominion, and Star goes down. Ronin trying to put more pressure onto Benny here. Wind's going to rotate around the corner, but awkward positioning around this pit here. Wow, a flicker forward from that. Oh my goodness, a big shot coming out from Winds here, but not enough to save Benny as he goes down. Winds may go down too. And Ohm is the most aggro support player I've ever seen. Steals out the monster for good measure.
I mean, Ohm popping off. That's the kind of aggression you need to see. And now they might not actually be done here. They still have a couple minions, but they will back up, gain themselves the Abyssal Dragon. That is just a very impressive response from Mad to just follow Ohm's lead, to believe in the play, to just pull trigger and go for it when you kind of got punished for the last few times you've done that as Ohm. Ohm is really...
Well, I do like Mad standing up for themselves, right? It's like, no, you're not going to just randomly invade us. You're not that much ahead in gold. There's no real reason for you to be here. You're just trying to bully us. And Mad said, we're not going to get bullied. We don't care if we don't have the front line. I'll be the front line, says Ohm.
Yeah, I mean, CC is the best defense. If your opponents can't hit you, it doesn't matter how hard they hit. So being able to set up that kind of an aggressive push, committing the flicker, finding that opportunity, sure, more power to Mad, but they're going to need to continuously do that, and that gets harder and harder as we get deeper into this game, as Neil starts to build up significant damage. He's building towards what looks like his rank breaker,
Shock.
and that is a cutout run. Shock is going to go in, they're going to get the knock-up, Cleave comes in, hook back, and that's going to be Neil with that tactical fire forward. Now Ohm, a possible target. They're looking at this buff, seeing who they can continue to bait in. Ohm going to look to steal it, but is it there in time? Now, the Kilgroth is becoming a problem. He has finished his jungle item. He will be getting that stacked. He'll be getting that built up. Ohm takes some additional damage from Neil. Is fine. And now, again, if the Kilgroth gets space to maneuver, we could start to see a problem because Soar and Bevel are just kind of chilling. And this is super deep from Bevel, but they're going to be able to bait in Star. They get a little bit of damage onto him. The ultimate does come out, but it's just going to be the members of Mad backing off. Now we see another flank towards the top. Benny puts pressure onto Bevel. That's going to be the knockback from the Hurricane Wall. Using continue stepping forward. He's going to walk right past Shingy. They will be okay. Good win cups for measure from Ohm, but this looks like there's going to be a tower going down.
Yeah, it's going to be a tower, guaranteeing that is wins. Ohm might go down himself here. Yeah, it gets absolutely obliterated. I'm loving the plays here from both of our support players, just having that flicker in order to get in there. We saw it from Ohm a few minutes ago, and then Benny flickering in to get that Dark Dominion a couple of minutes after that, and even to be able to the ability to get out. So both supports making these plays, and really curious to see how this game is going to develop after this, because both sides are really being potentially over aggressive and getting kind of punished for it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like J Team have kind of lost some of their original cool and composure, and they're just like, we just got to win this. We just got to end this game. That's going to be an Abyssal Dragon going over the side of J Team. We see the Bear's Agony for Star as his second item to find that additional cooldown reduction. That's an interesting adaptation. I feel like his damage is going to be a problem if they don't funnel some farm into him.
Right. Well, if he gets one Fire Crash off, that's a big cone of 9% damage on everyone, which is nice, especially because, they could potentially be grouping up there for Mad. But yeah, I mean, the percentage damage, actually, the more I think about it, it's not that great. Looking at Mad's side, they're all squishy, so.
No, there aren't health bars to really gain advantage out of that. That's the ultimate Holy Fire used by Star, just as a zoning mechanism, as a tool for them. Now they do have the Xenial split pushing. And this is a good opportunity for them if they can keep the members of Mad here just kind of chilling. Wow, Wind comes one away from Ohm! He gets him with the Hurricane Wall, pushes them back in. He'll go down, but he'll take that sacrifice. Yeah, they lose the tower. Oh, but it looks like the members of J Team, they are not too fond of Ohm and not too impressed to the point where they will get 2 kills for 1, despite that amazing play, and 2 towers for none.
Yeah, and as good as that was, they just need the fact that they have such a... Oh my goodness, Ronan. He's very low use, and he's going to go down. He's actually going to go down here. Great job by Bevel and Ronan to take him out. But on the side of Mad, the fact that they both have a squishy support and they have double marksman is... That's the reason why it doesn't work out for them, right? Because once you have Ohm go in, there is no more front line. And even though it was a decent sacrifice, there was no follow-up to be had. And it's just
it looked so good, though.
It was really good. The Wind comes into the knockback with the Hurricane Wall, took them out, got that kill. Just they need that front line there. Benny gets caught out once more. Ohm trying to get the damage in. One thing that is going for Ohm, if he is able to get the damage in with his Gust Force, is that he does do percentage damage, and there's literally 3 heroes on the side of J Team that build part of their kits with the HP. So that's pretty interesting there.
Yeah, I mean, this is the saving grace for Matt is the fact that the Kogroth is still scaling fairly well. He's not strictly ahead, but he hasn't been getting completely wrecked. So there's still an opportunity for him to kind of do his thing and maybe open up an opportunity. It looks like this is going to be their engagement on the Yuuzhan. Yuuzhan very much sees through this. I don't know if he really wants to take this. He's just going to kind of keep them busy. It's going to be the tower trade out.
Bottom lane.
Yuuzhan should easily be able to protect his his top tower. As the bottom tower is being pressured, backdoor protection is now back, but Ohm kind of caught. Nice Hurricane Wall to get himself out of there. Rotation in by the members of J Team to make their way towards mid as they wait for the next minion wave to set itself up in the bottom half of the map, and they will begin their secondary siege. Now we do see the members
Flicker
of
forward
Mad
for Benny.
backing, but is that going to be too late? Yeah, Benny burns out that resource. He does still have the Dark Dominion, and the next wave is setting up here on the bottom half of the map. This is not a healing buff, it's the team fight buff for J Team, so they should be able to get this and walk away for their next opportunity, and High Ground Tower broken.
And no matter how much you nerf Violet, as long as she has Tactical Fire, you can burn down these towers from ridiculous lengths. And she's just proving so much of a nuisance because Mad cannot get to her. They don't have that dive in order to get there. And then even with a Scorching Wind, even with a subpar item for her kit, at the end of the day, it's just too much. Well, Shinyi trying to do his best to hold on here, Shinyi and Co. But again, they just can't step up because Neil, with that water gun, with that water bazooka, I should say, just doing so much damage to these towers, bringing them down one by one. Again, good win cuffs, but no real follow-up because no member is able to step up.
Yeah, you need you'd really need a full engage from the rest of the team.
Yeah, in this situation, someone needs to be the fall guy. Just whether it's Bevel, whether it's Ronan, just someone needs to get in there and be the sacrificial lamb so that everyone else can deal the damage.
Oh, they found Ohm.
Oh my goodness. And yeah, he goes down. And Ohm is trying to be that frontline hero, but not working out. Sora's trying to take out Benny, but there's the Angelic Splendor, which means he's not going to be able to take him down. Bevel's taking a lot of damage as well. They're on the chase here. Gorelord comes out to be able to survive. Barely does, even with that CC. Oh, hello! Neil is just chunking fools down, and Wind is going to guarantee this tower. Oh my goodness. I guess it doesn't matter when you have Scorching Wind because you can chunk like an MOFO.
Hello, my name is Ohm, and I do lots of damage. I didn't know if you'd heard.
You mean
you
Neil?
must not know who I
Neil.
Neil. I was
like,
I don't know why I was like,
Ohm's
I was
dead.
like, Ohm died.
Angelic Spender wins. If he can get a couple of... Oh, just kidding. I was going to
No,
say, if he can get some cleaves off, he can maybe stay alive. But who needs to stay alive when you could just kill them?
I'm 5-eyed and Violet. You must not know who I am. Do you know who I am? You must not know who I am.
This is absolutely insane here.
It's just Ohm is about to die. Ohm is already dead.
Hurricane Wall used already. This is the win
Good
used
positioning. Bevel in the
Star?
backline. Star goes down. That's huge, but Neil just looked at Shingy and brought him down.
Goodbye,
Neil
Ohm.
should be able to continue to tactical fire.
Ronan.
That's going to be a good shock. And they isolate one target. Ohm, the last man standing. I know Bevel's alive and full health. But I don't know if Bevel's going to clear this minion wave. That's the hook on Ohm. He's going to get hit with a Malleus. They are breaching the base. Bevel goes deep in enemy territory, gets a lot of damage, gets the cleave onto multiple targets, manages to get him with that Angelic Splendor, that nice little bit of damage. And they will hold on from the side of Mad, but
Benny would have died without the Angelic Splendor, by the way. But yeah, this is all 9 towers
over.
down. There's almost no way for Mad to come back. Once we get to this spot, if all 9 of your towers are down, you better have like 8 of theirs down, or else the game is over.
Yeah, it's gonna need to be a miracle.
It has to
for
be
Mad.
it has to be at least 2 aces. You can't just 1 ace and kill them unless J Team has been doing a terrible job of managing their waves, which is hard to do because you have the advantage in every lane, right? It would have to be Mad and someone pushed out the top lane all the way across the map and then took a fight and then aced. That's what would have to happen.
Oh no, Sora's caught. I mean,
run.
He laced up the Nikes, but he's donezo.
Almost killed Neil, actually.
I mean, he had damage. That wasn't his issue. He just doesn't have the health bar to survive.
Ohm is just going for the style points. He has the most damage taken in the league. Now he's going for most win cuffs percentage landed. It's just like...
I mean, he's
all he
doing a
cares
good
about.
job. Damage from
Bevel?
Bevel on the Star. Bevel has reached kind of a dangerous point because here comes Shiggy. He gets the kill on the Star, but Dark Dominion. Keep him under the tower. Keep him locked down. Put him in the cage, and he's going to go down. And
Mad, they keep showing good individual play. Ohm has been great. Sora has showed great plays. Like every single player on the side of Mad has had their moment in the sun, and yet they just cannot put it together.
the GCS does not lack for skill. No, in very, very few scenarios have we seen over the course of the entire GCS has a player been unskilled. The problem is team play. The problem is communication. The problem is strategy. It's drafting. It's all of the things that have nothing to do with pressing the button.
There's been no one on the side of Mad where I was like, yeah, they're the problem. They're not very good at this game. Get rid of them. Send someone back in. They've all played extremely well at some point or another. And just the decision-making, the coordination has not been there. J-Team has always had that in spades. They take the win here, but it was certainly a scare.
Yeah, it was way harder than it should have been for J-Team. Game 1, that Alice pick should never have happened. You think they maybe win Game 1, they close that out in 2 games.
Game 2 was a scare. They nearly lost this in 2 games.
It shouldn't have reached that point for J-Team, who's not only looking at being first seed, but they're trying to like guarantee that playoff win.
You could say that for both teams, though. It shouldn't have gone to the point for J-Team because why did they pick the Alice? But how did Mad not finish this in 2? How did they even get the...
I expect better from J-Team. I am the salty J-Team fan. Remember that salty J-Team fan when they were at that other esports event where they brought the GCS win on the road? You remember that girl sitting in the stands who was just looked like she would accept nothing but perfection from J-Team?
Yeah,
I'm channeling her right now because we expect cleaner, better team play out of J team. We expect them to be pushed to their limits more by the top teams in the league. And Matt is currently sitting in 6th place. They are 12-16. They are now 13-18 compared to the 20-6 that J team was going into this. They are now 22-7. You would think that the scores between those teams, it would not be that much of a struggle for J team to lock out the game.
My question is, why is it that in every series these days we have multiple instances of teams just losing their minds when it comes to the draft? Like, Matt, this draft from Matt, I don't even know what's going on. Same thing with J team in the first game. Like, what is happening?
I don't think people have. So we added 2 bans to the game. You would think that 2 additional bans wouldn't be that much, but we've moved where the bans are. We've shifted them from the beginning, so now your first pick, your first rotation of picks is so much more important, and it's so much more difficult to do, and you have to think more steps deeper, because you're going to have to run into 2 more bans, and you get 1 less ban at that start, so you can't lock out as many things as you could before the draft had even gotten going. And I don't think that the teams and the coaching staff have properly adapted yet. I think the only team, and I don't know how I became an SMG fanboy, but SMG is the only team we have seen so far who seems to understand the new drafting. Like, they were on the up and up before the new drafting. They were just playing better as a team, making better individual plays. But they're the only team I think we have seen who has not been a major snafu in the draft.
Well, it helps to have a wild card in that Emily and Liang on Emily.
That's true. That Emily definitely throws things into chaos. But even when they didn't pick Emily, we saw that the other day. They still had really clean drafting. It never looked like they were pinched in any category. They understood how to play that out, and I just don't think the rest of the teams in the GCS have caught up to that because it is a rough adaptation. It is a very big hard tack. When League of Legends went from 3 bans to 5 and went from a 3 bans at the start to a snake draft 5, like we are currently seeing here, with a snake draft 4, they had the off season to do it. They had 2 to 3 months to figure it out before competition. Like, they had plenty of time to work their way through it before it came through. This happened mid-season. It is a hard tack for these teams. I don't blame them for this being their biggest issue.
By the way, just on that issue, or on that note, I love how going with the theme of this being on mobile and everything just going quicker, they just going like, screw it. just throw the bans in there.
Who needs an off season? Just like middle of the season, let's add more bans. Like it. I mean,
and patches when patches come through, they're like, just put the hero in, it's fine.
So here's the Storm did it. Here's the Storm did it over the summer, but they did it in between LAN. So they were in they had the mid-season LAN. They had, or not the mid-season brawl, but it was the Western Clash. They did it Western Clash into the second half. So there was like a 2-week downtime for everybody to look at stuff and to get an idea of how they were going to change up the draft. Like it wasn't as drastic when they changed up the banning system for heroes. So
I want to see that I want to see it occurred or come into actual ladder play and people's just minds exploding.
People won't know how to handle it. People will not know how to handle it. It'll be bedlam on ladder for like a month.
Especially because people will still ban heroes that don't need to be banned like 2 months after a patch because they're just used to seeing that person being banned from way back when. Like, Rourke was banned like 2 months after he should have been still banned. It's like, what are you guys doing?
I bet if I loaded up and gotten a queue, I'd still see a Rourke ban. Like, if I loaded up right now, I'd probably see a Rourke ban.
Alright, well, it looks like we have an interview with Benny, J-Team, managing to barely get out of that one. And when we come back next, we'll see if Flash Wolves can get out of their own struggle as well, as they are up next against one team. See you guys in a bit.
针对他的中路呢，主要如果说对方因为你把他 ban 掉之后，他们是出纳塔雅嘛，
对。
那如果他们改成出金娜的话，你们会不会比较难应付？
不会，因为纳塔雅前期比较强，我们怕的是他前期的 combo。
是。
所以才把蝴蝶 ban 掉。
是。
对，然后他们如果选金娜的话，我们会好打一点。
是，那像在刚刚最后一场呢，他们的辅助角选择了安奈特，你看到的当下会不会觉得哇完蛋了？
不会，因为我们的阵容没有刺客， 安奈特比较康特刺客角。
是，那如果是你像对方这样，你们已经是手抢美娜了嘛，然后你们又把大象 ban 掉，那如果说你呢是你的话，你会选择什么样的辅助呢？
你说
像在对面这样的阵容，
在对面
对，
应该会补萨尼吧？
为什么？
因为我们都是站桩的，只要被他推到一波，我们很容易死去。
那像你手抢伊耿士，你们的辅助阵容是为了搭配伊耿士做搭配的吗？
因为他们前面2场都把我们美娜拿走，因为美娜是我们家 Benny 玩的特别好的一只角色。
是。那我想要问最后一个问题是，你觉得在刚刚的会战当中，最难应付的问题是什么？
最主要问题是我们今天的 ban pick 比较乱吧？对，
是，你们在第一场的节奏蛮乱的。
因为我们沟通很多失误，对，所以才导致这样。
那你们刚刚在抠的时候有起内讧吗？
是不会起内讧，就是资讯量有一点太多。对。
好，那我们谢谢雨中，待会呢我们会进个广告，然后迎接到的是闪电狼对上 One Team 的对决，请大家敬请期待。
No need to pray for me. Come on, no need to cry for me. No need to run. This is my own fate. No one's gonna break me.
In buff. In buff. In buff. In buff, we trust. Buff 能量饮料，含花青素双效登场。开车的时候有 Airwaves 在手，随时随地让你觉醒一下。
他没有，那蓝20秒，他的蓝20秒。
那我要越塔的啊，注意啊，这边要不要快一场？
我有大绝，林地应该是跟得上。这个夜叉是不是可以拦他啊？
可以砍他，你砍他，我会下去帮你。
我在走了。
没资彩了。
再拦区，站着。
没资彩了。
我站前面。
我10秒资彩了。
夜叉过去，夜叉大绝，夜叉有大绝啊，注意这波小心。
你帮
我有大。
夜叉大绝有闪现啊。
洛克西会先过去哦。迟早，我知道。走，
我开大。
小心我们。我走。射。加刮呢，那很快，加贵。
吃掉。
很好。
这个节奏我喜欢。
有没顺的。
我来帮，他想死了。
有没顺，上兵，上去带下。我可以压爆，
我觉得这一波，中先爆。
压一波，上。
缓到，我在扛。
永生一滴，
拉到，
好，杀他。
中兵，
来了，
奶妈在哪？我不行了，
没有奶妈。
多久了？奶妈已经不见了。
我要吃蓝，这蓝我的，别跟我抢。
下面我来了。
不要。
我可以补。
哦 ，OK， 补一个。
奶妈，谢谢。
全部给我回来。
你们去带上好吗？
我先洗 ，OK 吧？我洗。
OK。
好，定违章。登录要手。
哇，杀第一次。
他没事的呢，他没伤害，我们没伤害。不能会死，我死。
洛克先支援哦。
这么冲的吗？
谁这么冲的？
莉莉安啊。
秀了。那我们前面太亏了。
对，
打得回来吗？
可以啊，一定可以的。
讲听老实话吗？
打不回来。
没事没事。不知道最后怎么知道？
好啦，事情都这样了，等下豁出去跟他们打。
豁出去了啦。
真的要拼了。我
着急。
我没到，我没到。
那个杜可先看一下哦，我在看。我可以放弃，我可以放弃。不要到。
我在看。
哎，还有机会，不要。反到，遇到。
莉莉安。
下倒，70，
可以，但是可以，我去看了，
差一点死了没？
不要看话了啦，太多了。
好了，够了。
没靠人哦，小心被关哦。
他们在下面。
加入小心哦。
上路压迫。上路压迫。
我知道。
要准备转哦。
我小心红区。
去点他。
你不要跑我，你不要都没人哦。
走。
马家靠中右。
可以。我们绕家里过去。中右莉莉安。
拉一点。
来，走。来，往下压迫。景没大了。龙要开吗？龙可以开。可以。
开吧。
我来去卡人。
先吃掉。我拿到。
哎，就打没那。
不要打，不。
马家开。不要太深。开。
这个节奏我喜欢。
李林上街，警察靠边。我一直迫不及待，要为你涂上新的色彩。Color round，丑八怪，快走开！嘿，免费大派送开始喽！
Come on. No need to break for me. Come on. No need to cry for me. No need to run. This is my own place. No one's gonna break me.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the GCS Unofficial English Broadcast. I am D2. With me is the Source. And we just got through watching J-Team take out Mad by the skin of their teeth. Now we're going to see the other team at the top of the standings, the Flash Wolves, take on one team. But the difference is, even though this is a top team as far as record is concerned, Flash Wolves have been struggling as of late, the Source, because of one particular change in their lineup.
Yeah, and I do believe that this is the playoff schedule. Regular season ends on the 21st. Playoffs are on the 3rd. I think that's correct.
The bottom says begins. So I think that's, and the last two I think are like a vote. I think you can vote for people then.
Possibly.
Because the first two characters in the bottom definitely say begin. And then the last two,
all I know is the group stage ends on the 21st.
Right. I think that's when some sort of voting begins. So
maybe voting closes on the 3rd of November.
I think the actual thing is on the 3rd, and then voting begins on, I don't know. Anyway,
the 21st. Voting begins on the 21st.
Wait. On that graphic, were there any Korean players on there?
Shishi's back!
Shishi's back!
Wait, Shishi's back?
Flash Wolves! How are they saved?
Where has he been? I really wish I spoke Taiwanese so I knew what they were saying so I could learn why Shishi has been gone. Because I'm sure they've said it.
Right, but then that would mean we'd have to listen to the Taiwanese broadcast. I don't know. I mean, it might be on the Garena site, I'm not sure, but they haven't really said anything. They might have been just messing around.
No, you wouldn't mess around that much. That is... No.
Maybe they valued Ignis so much, and Shishi couldn't play it as well as Missing. I don't even know.
Not on your life.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, we had... Let's take a look at one first. Lover, Shangyotura, Ting, and Fanta. No Hualin. So, Hualin out, one of the best mid laners, and someone who's carried one before, and in Shishi for Flash Wolves. So all of a sudden, this game looks really good for Flash Wolves. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, Flash Wolves look great, obviously, as they had for the most of the season. And then, in came Missing to replace Shishi, and Missing wasn't very good, to just put it standardly, I guess. And they lost, and they didn't look good losing, because what the thing about Flash Wolves is that they're all predicated on winning team fights. And if one cog isn't performing at this ridiculously high level, then they don't win the team fights and everything falls apart, because they don't really macro or do anything really better than any other team. They always seem to find themselves behind 1,000 gold or so, and then they just win these improbable team fights over and over and over again. And again, when you don't have that one extra superstar player, it makes it hard.
And these were not just they won their series against Monster Shield, but that went 2-1. That went 2-1 for Flash Wolves. You would never have expected Monster Shield to pick up that game, and then they lost straight up 2-0 to Mad. So Missing was not bringing the same kind of oomph that Shishi was, and we worried that if they got into these series in this latter portion of the season with Shishi gone, and I assume he's talking about where he's been.
He's like, I was kidnapped and now I'm back.
But like with Shishi gone and you going up against Mad and AHQ, those are dangerous matchups to be facing, to the point where they could have... That's a chance for them to end up in 3rd or 4th place. Somebody moving into 2nd, somebody securing themselves a better position.
Okay, hopefully I don't get in trouble for this, but I feel like some of the Taiwanese and Chinese players, they just walk into racist jokes. And one thing, all I can think about is the Linkin Park song in the end.
Oh, no.
One thing. I don't know why. Anyway, that's all I can think of. It's like, stop walking into these jokes and making things hard for us. It's like when we had one of the Gold Series events for Hearthstone, it was one of the biggest events in China, and it was held in a city called Chongqing, and I'm like, oh no, oh no, this isn't good. But anyway, sorry, I had to say it. Hopefully I'm not.
It's just it's too easy. It's too easy.
Just like right in front of you. Anyway, hopefully someone points that out to them so that they don't get accidentally made fun of. In any case, Flash Wolves and 1 getting into the draft.
I mean, we've also seen kind of weekend drafting out of Flash Wolves without Shishi.
Yeah,
it's been the Ignis Crixie show, and that's like all they could play because it seems like Missing couldn't play Raz, couldn't play Liliana,
and then he did pick Flash, but it didn't
look good.
It looked like he was playing Crixie. Basically, he would run in, Mach Punch, and dash away. It was like that might as well have been a mischief because you didn't do anything else.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that 1 would prioritize the Ignis there. If they don't ban Richter, we could see an early Richter pick coming out from Flash Wolves.
Well, they left a lot open, speaking of both these teams. So Kriknak's there.
You don't have to touch mages. If they don't ban a mage here, you don't have to think about mages when you're Flash Wolves. You can pick anything in your first rotation, and you're going to get one of the 2 power mages in your second rotation.
Right. So 1's really behind the 8 ball. And they're thinking about this for quite a while. They do ban out the Richter in the end.
Kriknak first pick for Wayne.
Yeah, Wayne has typically played either Assassin Jungler or like a Fennec. So I would like to see that, but they're going to just give it up, I suppose.
Don't you dare pick Valheim with Lindis and Kriknak are up. Don't you dare.
They love playing Fennec. I don't know what it is. So I think they're like, okay, fine, pick the Kriknak. We'll stun you to death.
These Valheim picks hurt me in my soul.
Look at 1. They all looked at each other. They're like, should we pick Kriknak? Are we missing something here?
Me and 1 are just like, wait, what player is that?
I think that's Xingyi.
Gotcha.
Because that was who they showed who was laughing when Natalia got this random kill that one time.
Yeah. Okay, so Kriknak makes it through. That's fine.
Shishi can actually play Raz, so they're going to select him.
But like you yield to get Valheim, you yielded priority and control over the mage situation.
Something must be happening in Taiwan again, because Sun was picking Valheim first every single time as well. It worked out for their team, but that's Sun, so.
Yeah. Again, Valheim's not bad, but he's not first pick worthy when there's so many other priorities on the map. And if you don't take a mage here, 1 is going to pinch you on mages. Flash Wolves, if you've forgotten who you are. Okay. That's slightly better. You can give Tura the Liliana, and 1 basically walk away with 3 power picks, and Flash Wolves have 1 S2 hero.
I just really don't want to see a repeat of game number 1 from last series, where they pick another support and Chognar doesn't have enough damage. that's the one thing I
don't see them falling for that trap. This Malik, I don't think is real. I think they're gonna pick the Liliana. I think. Oh no, wow. Okay, it's real. So that means they feel confident in the deepness of their mage pool. They're not afraid about yielding the Lily, which is fine. There are other things to play. That just seemed.
I feel like
if I'm unnecessary.
I definitely ban Lily here if I'm Flash Wolves.
Yeah, I ban Lily and a priority Silaner.
Right.
Probably in this situation, Roxy's already gone. There's the Lily ban, so they're like, okay, if you're not gonna take it, we'll get rid of that. Maybe even the Landis would be a good ban here. Not even bother with the side laners.
Well, I don't know. If you take away Lindis, you still allow something like a Tell, which is actually reasonable these days. But 1 themselves take out the Lindis, interestingly enough. So they don't want to get that over the Flash Wolves. I still think Flash Wolves are going to go Fennec. They just love Fennec.
I would really love for them to go Zephys. I would really love for them to not go Fennec.
Oh, Flash Wolves just really trying to squeeze
the mage pick. I mean, you gave them the opportunity to do so. No reason to yield on that piece. Now you're literally looking at Jinnar, Natalia, Crixie. Maybe a wild Alistair comes through, but it's Jinnar, Natalia, Crixie. I think that's all we really see at this point.
This is why the Malak is looking even worse, though, because you could still go Jinnar if you had like a Crest, or had the opportunity to go Crest. Malak, it does... You would think that they have synergy, right? Because they both dive, but it actually does the opposite. Everyone just runs away because there's this big circle coming down on you. and Jinnar's like, where did everyone go? I just exuberanced.
Yeah. So Omen in to give them a secondary powerful side lane, but now I want to see Flash Wolves lean right into that Marja second tank.
Oh!
They can play the Amelie?
Oh, yes.
Question mark?
Oh, yes. Oh, give it to me. On the Zill, too. Oh, yes. Oh, I love it.
Okay. And then that's the mid lane Marja out of one because they don't know how to handle the Amelie Zill Raz. Ooh, the dueling. The 2v2 in the top lane.
I'm not even going to look at what they're trying to pick here until it happens. But Flash kind of makes sense with another dual, or dive hero, with the Crick neck. He's kind of like a half dive, half poke, depending on whether you want to stay there or not. But alright, they're going for
it. It's just got wild. There's just so much threat from Flash Wolves. They've got no main tank. They're just ready. They're just going to kill you. The best defense is a good offense.
Now, even though we just got off of, or at least I got off of, getting really mad at Mad for having a lineup with not much of a frontline, and Flash Wolves has one hero who can be that frontline hero, but this looks fragile from Flash Wolves, but they have playmakers at every position, Valheim being kind of that as well. So they can create havoc and pick people off by themselves. Whereas that was not the case with Mad last series, in that last game. Because Mad was just going in there and it was a composition that needed a front line. This is just chaos all over the place from Flash Wolves. And in that scenario, it's perfectly fine.
You don't need a front line if we're all a threat to kill your whole team.
Exactly.
Like, you don't need... Their strategy is, if we come at you with enough damage and we run at you with enough threats, it's just like, what does it matter that no one's tanky? Eventually one of us is going to get you.
And everyone's very shifty, too. You can't really nail someone down. The easiest would be Valheim, but even he has these annoying stuns. Whereas in the last game, you just had heroes, I think it was like Lindis, where you had to walk up there and attack at some point, right? And this game is a lot different here for Flash Wolves.
I mean, effectively towards the early game, your damage threats are Tura and Chanyo, and other than that, it's Flash Wolves is literally running they don't have enough bullets for all of us strategy.
Absolutely, but that said, Chanyo, if he's able to do work, Fanta,
do you really want to do that? I don't know if you actually want to do that. Like, you're thinking about it, like you're giving it you're giving it a good consideration, but that seems like a poor decision. With just how quickly Ron can instantly rotate into that, and we will see no significant invades. The vision is owned by Amelie, and the top heroes somehow won that. I mean, I still haven't seen enough direct Amelie matches to really get how that's supposed to work, and I really want to understand where the true pressure comes in. If it's just the rhythm of the damage that becomes a problem, that she can engage, hit you, and disengage before you can really answer her, I guess is my answer. But we do see the possible level 4 gank coming into the top lane. Heroes is going to take some initial damage. He's dropped to half health, but a quick hop and a jump away, and he will survive.
It's called combo. Anyway, sorry. Poland from Icewing has to flicker out. Here comes a tornado.
Tornado? Killing Datura.
Nearly takes out Ting, but so both sides barely get out of there with their lives. Good defense, you could say. as the Abyssal's coming up pretty soon here. So this is what it comes down here, right? The killing power from Flash Wolves and the kind of balance from one. And on top of that, can Shanyo take out his targets when he rotates along the map? Because that will make a huge difference if whether they get away or whether he's able to secure those kills.
Yeah. And we also have to worry, like, there's also there's also a lot of things to threaten him, but that's going to be Heroes.
No Endure.
He's still trying to win the vision battle. It will go over to Lover. He will not die, though. Heroes managing to survive, Lover not really having the damage just yet to be able to answer that, but that is an advantage for one into the top half of the map. We do see Shishi sticking around the mid lane, just covering for his ally, making sure that nobody is rotating up there. But I think if Shanyo gets a glimpse of Heroes a little too far pushed up, he's going to die. He is now angling in onto the side. He's going to get himself.
He has Endure, though.
There. Even I mean, that can help, but with Fanta there as well, they wait for the minion wave. They time it out. No one's going to be able to come help Heroes.
Bob's Endure.
And that's going to be the Dark Dominion. Takes a bunch of additional damage. Good combo to slow them down. And here comes Shishi. It's been so long since we've seen him, but he lands the Power Surge. Doesn't decide to follow up. Doesn't use the explosive KO for damage. Had to use it for mostly repositioning.
Well,
and that's tower saved.
And that's what we're talking about. Emily is so tanky now with that extra damage resistance on that Endure there. And I believe with Crickneck, you know how he blows people up with the bite passive and the combined with the attack after Terrifying Plague? That's 3 instances of damage, as we see some damage onto Tura here. But oh, Tura, what are you doing, buddy? Shishi just absolutely owning this. But when you auto attack after Terrifying Plague as Run, I can't talk because Run's about to die here. He tries to heal. There's the pushback from Wayne. But anyway, hopefully I can get this in. There's an auto attack, and then there's the extra damage from Bite, which is physical damage, and then there's the extra damage which you get after Terrifying Plague. That's 3 instances of damage. I believe all 3 get mitigated by that Endure. So that's 300 damage on that, which is it's so much when you're talking about
damage on the Shanyo. Wow. He's going to take a huge KO from Shishi. The man is back. Now Wayne putting pressure on the Lover. That's going to be the tornado. It's going to slow him down. They'll get the additional damage. Here comes Heroes. They're going to get the combo. Another knock-up. This is just an absolute bouncy house coming out from the side of Flash Wolf, just between Shishi and Heroes to be able to quickly CC the targets. Then there's pressure into the bottom lane. I say it, the Flash Wolves are back.
This is what happens when Shishi is playing on your team. He makes these plays happen, makes everyone look better. And not only that, but the confidence has to be there for Flash Wolves. Since you see Shishi making those plays, you just want to follow up. You get all this confidence on your side. And when one player is missing, and I'm sorry for the pun missing, but it just makes everything fall apart. And Shishi has put everything back together again.
It's not to say Missing is a bad player. Missing is just not Shishi. Missing doesn't have the magic that Shishi has. Doesn't have that playmaking potential. Doesn't find opportunities that no one else can the way Shishi's able to do that for the
ridiculous.
Flash Wolves.
He flickered forward, ulted back because he wasn't at the exact right angle. Just that split-second decision-making to know Raz inside and out, to know exactly that he needed to make that sequence of plays in order to take out Shanyo. That's the difference between your run-of-the-mill, decent, conqueror player and a god like Shishi.
Yeah, we're seeing just the Flash was play with significantly more confidence. Shishi, he's going to get locked down, but he manages to survive that. No, Tura will finish him off. Lover will be the sacrifice to that. They're still going to get the objective. So despite that being a 1-for-1, despite Shishi taking all of that damage, Flash will still walk away with the win. So Shishi is back, and it is a marked improvement from Flash Wolves to just play with significantly better coordination and confidence.
Yeah, and you talk about a mage who shouldn't stay alive that long. He gets the heal from his team, yes, but even on top of that, the fact that he was attracting 4 members of one, and they're able to trade kills and get the Abyssal Dragon after that it just goes to show his value.
All right,
Ron,
an invade from Ron. He looked for it. He gave it the old college try to try and steal that from Shanyo. But Shanyo will secure his might goal. I mean, Shishi's just not done. If if he doesn't dash,
was that mid dash?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it was
mid flash dash.
It was repositioned. There wasn't an it wasn't through invuln pixels. It was just like not the right angle in the timing. But here comes Shishi. Shishi, look at these flanks. No one else is doing any kind of plays like this. He's proxying the wave just to set up the additional pressure. And had they had a little bit more time with those minions, I'm sure he would have dove there. We're going to see some damage in from Heroes to kind of put some pressure onto Shanyo. And we haven't talked too much from... Oh yeah, Heroes ended up using that, so that's a slight resource down. But we're going to see another tower likely dropping in the top half of the map. Malik is going to need to back up. No, they don't catch him. Oh, Lover held his breath there.
As all lovers do. In any case, we're moving on. Ting went down through all that somehow. I'm not really sure how.
Dove under tower, a good tornado combo plus Ice Fang. Getting the damage. Heroes is going to get locked up. They've accepted that they're going to sacrifice him, but they take Fanta.
Oh my
they take him on a ride. Chi-Chi gives him a one-way trip back to base, and they are going to be able to put additional damage on this. Now Tura is low, is in the middle of that Cyclone, but they get the re-engage on the Shanyo, and Tura eats the damage. Wayne goes deep with the tornado, picks up the additional kill, and they will get more pressure here into this mid lane. This tower should be going down momentarily. Lover, you do not want to stay for this. This is not a safe place for you. Wayne is still waiting in the wings. And the Flash Wolves, they have not dropped a single objective or tower.
Flash Wolves have a way of making it seem like they have good macro because they can take 2 versus 3s and 3 versus 4s and fight that they should not win. So even if they're out of position, it doesn't matter because their team fighting is just so ridiculous. Fan is trying to keep up with Shishi, but no one keeps up with Shishi.
Yeah, you don't need good macro strategy when you win all your lanes.
And even the lanes that you're not supposed to win. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like it doesn't matter if the enemy team has better macro than you if you are winning every lane and winning every duel and coming out ahead in every exchange.
It's like one rotates over with 4 where there's 3 on the Abyssal Dragon's like, oh, we out-rotated you. And Flash Wolves just looks at them and says, Did you? Did you though? And just kills them 3v4. Like, no big deal.
And this is such a departure from the Flash Wolves we've been seeing. It's just so much better. It looks like the old Flash Wolves. And one of the big things for Flash Wolves is they can win lanes, but when they are behind, you always have that Flash Wolf factor. They could always turn and trap you in a play that was overcommitted. And we couldn't see that from them when they had missing. You see Heroes taking a bunch of damage in the bottom lane. He's actually surviving. Combos to the left, combos to the right. The tower is still up. He's gonna survive.
Oh my god!
He goes back in. He gets one. Oh, he can't get a second one, but he keeps them busy. Here comes Shishi. Power surge forward, looking for his opportunity. He's gonna go back. He's gonna find Lover. He will instantly take him out with the KO punch. And that's gonna be Wayne finding Fanta. Steps forward, picks up the kill. I mean, if he'd just been able to get onto that heal, I honestly think that Heroes would have 1v3'd.
So, it looks like teams are specifically picking Emily to deal with Crickneck. Because it mitigates every single last piece of damage, like all the extra additional damage that he does on his auto attacks afterward, which is a huge part of his damage. Emily,
it's a very good anti-dive, and it seems to hold up to the new assassin jungler meta. Like because of the Crickneck and because of those level 4 ganks, he didn't actually die in that first engagement, and it's been hard to kill him since.
Yeah, and that Endure is just being so powerful here to keep himself alive.
Like not only are you a menace and a threat damage-wise, and you're difficult to kill, but we're also seeing just the ability to
just chasing away the Crickneck.
But like, because the Crickneck can't get that level 4 kill, the Crickneck doesn't spiral. The Crickneck doesn't do what we've seen out of assassin jugglers. I think that I think is the golden the golden strategy there is you just can't kill her, so you can't snowball the assassin.
And the funny thing about this is Flash Wolves with the double mage assassin here, they can actually take down these towers very quickly because their auto attacks actually do a decent amount of damage, especially when you have the passive of Shishi, and the Loki's Curse and Apocalypse coming out here from Wayne. So these towers, they really drop quickly.
We're also seeing a more damage-oriented build from Ice Fang. Only went into the single slow, has the Blitz Blade and a Clavis Sancti, and is going into what looks like is going to be an Omni Arms.
Just stick with Blitzbay, it's better.
Blitzbay.
No, Bay.
Blitzblade.
Blitzbay.
Blitzbay?
Blitzbay. It's Blitzbay.
It's Blitzbay. Oh no, he's going into the Hyoga's Edge. I believed in you for a minute there, Ice Fang. I believed in you. I thought you'd adapted.
Wait.
You transcended.
Look at this disrespect here from Ron. Just all armor. It's like, yeah, Tura, you're not doing any damage to me. You're no Hualin.
I mean, he's not. He's not a damage threat whatsoever, and he's got armor, health, armor. Like the health is matching up the magic damage if he has any magic defense in his Arcana.
Even the health from Shield of the Lost, that's the most armor you can get in 360, so... Yeah, just all armor. That said, there is an 8% magic damage coming from Shanyo when he gets the bite off after a Terrifying Plague, but... Meh.
I don't think Ron cares. Ron just needs to survive as much of the physical damage coming in, because Wayne and Shishi and Heroes are being the real threat. Like he just needs to survive and slow and remove and chaos protection. And if he does all of those things, like if he just slows in chaos protections, it doesn't even matter if he survives. Like his job is to survive long enough to do those things. We do see Wayne taking a little bit of damage from Tura. That's going to be Heroes going deep underneath the tower. Has popped the ultimate. Is enduring. Is comboing. Is bringing down Lover. Lover has to dash out of there. And there comes the re-engage. The shotgun from Ting Tura makes a good play on the Ice Fang. That's a prime opportunity for them because Shanyo, but Ice Fang survives. He steps forward. He steps back. Bates and Ting keeps him there. Shishi coming in with the power surge to get a little bit more damage, and they won't be able to end the game just yet. Oh, Tura is asking for it. Now they've got the minions. This is a difficult dive.
It doesn't matter. They have minions on the core for the rest of the game. It's 9 towers down. Tura is just not getting it done. Just like we complained about replacing Shishi. Tura replacing Hualin is a similar story. Tried to get the Cyclone in, tried to flicker on to Ice Fang, chunked him down decently, and the follow-up was nearly there from Shanyo, but Ice Fang, stun machine that he is, stayed alive just long enough for his team to wipe Shanyo out. And Flash Wolves push their lead even farther forward. Dark Slayer is up pretty soon here. Heroes and she just look. They just look at Shanyo and he goes down. They just like, what are you doing here? Let me just punch you into oblivion. And this is just a clinic right now. Shishi's taking his left hand off the cell phone as he's just throwing out power surges.
Yeah, I mean, Shishi is here and he's saying, "Did y'all forget who I was? Did y'all forget who I am? Like the plays I can make? Because the respect has not been there." That's going to be the dive forward by Tura, but he will be able to back himself up. Now they're putting pressure onto Heroes. Good cast protection to lock out
Lover
the
dead.
shock, and Lover is down. They're getting that damage onto Ting. Tura gets baited back in, playing games with Shishi, but Shishi don't care. Heroes will fall to the core, but it doesn't matter, as that's going to be game 1 going over to Flash Wolves, and it's good to see Shishi back.
It's good to see Shishi back, indeed.
Yep.
And I gotta say, I am once again pumped for the playoffs because we have 4 monster teams with the return of Shishi here.
Yeah, Shishi don't go anywhere. Like, stick around.
The funny thing is, of the 4 teams in the playoffs, G-Team looks the shakiest at the moment.
Oh yeah, with that performance up against Mad, with them, I mean, maybe trying some different strategies, looking to push some draft ideas, but at the same time, you'd be like, you're not showing new strats, but you don't want to look weak going into playoffs. You may be sitting at the end of playoffs from that first place position, and nobody's going to be able to catch up, or nobody would have been able to catch up to you had you won, or nobody catches up to you if you win the game. But still, it didn't look good, and this looks like a Flash Wolves that has just been waiting to get back to full strength.
Shanyo did his job He had okay damage. I guess not really a whole lot if you compare it to the 70,000s of Ice Fang and Shishi, but try to get it done. Just the damage wasn't there from Team 1. Just compare it. Shanyo, 37,000 was 30% of his team's damage. Whereas Shishi, the 76,000 for him was not even 26%. Or it was barely 26%. So, just the damage wasn't there from Team 1 all across the board.
The Malik pick felt bad. That felt like the moment where one lost advantage in the draft. Because that should have been a Liliana pick.
Yeah. Well... That's true. I was gonna, the flash looked not that great.
Like it's not as much about the Malik as is where it was picked. That third pick could have been your Liliana. You would have had Kriknak, Mina, Liliana. You would have had mobility, damage, and plenty of playmaking potential. Whereas you went with Flash, whose playmaking is really predictable in comparison to Shishi back on the Raz. Like you at least can match.
He could not be less impressed with you right now.
He's just like, this was expected. look at him, stone cold. He's back. He went on break.
And you were doing some analysis while this happened, but were you watching when they were killing the Darkslayer? He literally took his left hand off the phone and was just like, power surge, power surge. And just stood motionless because that's how confident he was. He's like, no one's coming. I don't need to feign dodging or anything like that. This is just, I'm just gonna sit here and just press this button right now if that's okay with you. He just doesn't care. He gives no F's because one team does not scare him.
No, and this right here, that's the first time Shishi is back. Then just good play, and Heroes is definitely the unsung hero in that match because of how much pressure he drew for that Amelie. He played out his lane well. He got the enemy team to want to engage a bunch of times when they really, really shouldn't have. And you also add Wayne playing fairly well. This 1v3 that almost, like, he got one kill. He traded and almost got a second kill. Like, Amelie now might deserve a ban, and now we have two teams that can play Amelie.
And I really feel like it is kind of a soft counter to the Kriknak. And it can hold itself in the lane as well.
I think it's a general counter to melee assassin junglers because we've seen them be so good. They find a side laner, they kill them at 4, and they open it up. They didn't kill the Amelie. And then they didn't get her the second time. And then they couldn't get her the third time. And by then, it was too late, and she's 1v3ing them in trading.
And the thing with Emily is that she used to be just kind of mediocre at everything, but now that they've buffed her ult, her mediocre feels better now at everything. Not to mention she's good against Kriknak, who is in the meta right now. And on top of that, now she does something extremely well, which she's super tanky when she pops her ultimate, so she's able to survive through that. Now, that allows her to do a few things. One, she survives under Death's Embrace, which is huge, right? Because she's just not going to die unless there's multiple members there. And even then, she might still stay alive. Now, the other thing is that she can competently duel against a lot of heroes. And that includes, people like Lubu, like the Kilgroth, like what have you. And then, if it comes down to it, she can get into a team fight and be that frontline bruiser just based off of her ultimate because she has all that damage resistance to her. So, she fulfills so many roles for her side of the team, kind of like a Wonder Woman who can duel a little bit better.
Yeah, like, don't forget the CC off of combo. Like, don't forget the slow off of Kickblade. She still brings just plenty of additional single target and, in some senses, AoE CC.
Yeah,
that is just a problem for a lot of teams to deal with.
Yeah, people look at combo and they think, oh, with this dual passive, I get more damage on my combo. It's like, yeah, but, getting a 1 second stun on 5 members is good too. So, that's you don't need that extra 50% damage all the time. In any case, we are into this draft once more. And Kriknak is gone. It seems like every single time we have at least one hero that, quote-unquote, should have been banned last game and just is insta-banned the next game.
Interesting. Well, my Gmail just broke, which means my spreadsheet just broke, so we're gonna have to copy this down in a different form. No problem.
It's okay. We'll put in your spreadsheet that Richter has been picked by Flash Wolves this time.
Okay, give me a hot second.
Okay.
And I have to do this all by hand. I don't get to do this all fancy and free.
I'm trying to figure out if the hot second is over yet. Anyway.
The hot second is over.
Alright. So, Flash Wolves prioritizing that Valheim once again, and they get the Richter in, so 2 very strong sideliners for their side. And this time, one's going to take the rest for themselves.
Yeah, but... Okay, so Flash Wolves, I don't mind yielding in the mage category, because can't Shishi play, like, wild things like an Alistair? Wasn't he one of the Alistair players that we saw?
I don't think so, because we haven't seen... Alistair...
Or maybe that was Thailand. Maybe that was Thailand doing weird Alistair things.
Yeah, it was mostly Thailand. We've seen very few Alistairs in the GCS, but I believe we have seen it, though. But it wasn't Shishi because
they yielded the Liliana, and I'm loath to have them do that. But they have really good sidelines and really good support control for Ron playing the Chognar again. So you've now traded out the Amelie, you've gotten the Richter, and I guess that's giving you a similar engaged playstyle with more damage aggression as opposed to defense. And you're okay yielding the 3 very dangerous, like one's draft looks goddamn terrifying.
Yeah, but
so Flash Wolf's got a plan, I hope.
Well, it depends on how good this Richter is. Because if he's so ridiculous as to be banned every single time by every single team, then that could be the difference here. I'm seeing a ban for the first time in a while. I guess that might be an anti-Richter or anti-Chognar thing going on here. They banned out the Roxy as well, so they really don't want that suppressibility. Is it time for the second mage, the Alistair? I kid, of course.
Oh, no. All my cheats are broken. Okay, I'm not copying this draft. I'll copy it tomorrow.
Lots of Freudians. I'll coffee it tomorrow with some coffee. Anyway.
I'm tired, man. I'm tired. It'll be okay. Flash Wolves will 2-0 this, I believe.
The Freudian slips are fantastic here. They work, though. Flash Wolves are making us happy because they're actually picking real heroes that actually do things. They were flickering between the Zephys and the Zill. And those aren't marksman junglers, and those are also not things like Nakaroth and Murad. And that makes us happy.
Well, they're playing the expanded draft that we've seen starting to evolve. And yeah, they've yielded Lindis Razmina. But they've picked things that can answer them reasonably well, and with the caliber of team that Flash Wolves is, you have more faith in their ability to do that. Now...
One is flickering between Malak, Omega, and Arduin to figure out someone to deal with this Richter.
Yeah, they're honestly not sure. I don't think Malak is going to be able to handle it. Honestly, if you can play... Lubu's actually not a bad answer. That's somebody who's going to be able to duel him. And at least look at him with some kind of threat.
Well, Lubu, I still like people are still underestimating
sleeping on the Lubu.
Yeah, he's pretty nuts right now. He just beats Omen these days.
That's true.
All right, so Flash Wolves, they need... Well, the Zill can... no, he can't really play mid. So they need a mid here. I guess, okay, if they really wanted to, they could put Zill in the side lane and have Valheim mid, but that's kind of scary too. Oh. Oh. Oh?
Oh? Support Chognar, mid lane Valheim, jungle, Zill, Amelie, Richter side lanes? We getting that? I'm down. I'm not going to tell you no.
Just put Emily and her thick legs in the mid lane. She can handle it.
Mid lane Emily? No. Mid lane Richter! This can't be real.
Wait, what?
Mid lane Richter.
Shishi's playing it, so... What?
Yeah?
I think my brain just blew a fuse.
Oh, mid lane Richter to match the Raz. They're both melee. They both are going to get in each other's face in duel. They're both going to play in and out of the bushes. The poke is advantage of Tura, but you catch him with Shishi and Wayne. That's a 2-man combo that he's going to die. You get slow-in from
Wait. This is genius. He gets a stun out of the bush. And if he hits someone, he gets a double stun. So he can double stun out of the bush in mid. And the bush is right freaking there.
If this works, this is a god tier draft. I mean, yeah, it requires you to get Richter, which is definitely a challenge, but it's like, oh, we got Richter. Like, we'll let you have Lindis Razmina, but we got Richter, and you didn't see this coming.
The weird thing is that it's extremely hard to get the double stun, because once you stun out of the bush, the timer starts ticking because you're now in the river, and the river gives you a different dash. That said, you get a longer dash when you're in the river. It's weird. Richter's abilities are weird, guys. His passive is he does different things whether he's in the river, in the bush, or on land. And once you switch between modes, he gets a slight movement speed boost. But his first ability is this dash, which turns into a knock-up when you come out of the bushes, but it's longer coming out of the river. But if you manage to hit any enemies, whether it's minions or heroes, you get to do it again. His second ability is an invulnerability, and his third ability is this big red ball of death. So, we'll have to see. In the meantime, Shishi jumps on out of there, trying to style. He's just happy that he's getting to play Richter. He's having fun, but he's also getting hit by fireballs in the buttocks. So, he needs to be a bit careful.
The poke game is definitely in favor of Tura. The question is how are they going to compensate for that and find him opportunities? Ron's going to need to do a lot of babysitting. He's sitting here in the middle, try and keep him safe, trying to put damage, or at least some kind of threat onto Fanta, as Tura will gain pressure and poke advantage. Ron actually getting to about half health, so he needs to be careful of some aggressive play at a Tura and the right timing power surge. Here comes Zill. Back him up. That'll definitely put the fear of God into Fanta. Actually, they're just going to dash on Fanta, slow him down. They don't fully commit to the play.
Well,
they want to be able to get that level 4.
They made him flicker, which is very nice, because that's definitely not going to be available for this upcoming Abyssal. So
yeah, this is just wild, man.
Gigi looking for that right there, not able to connect. I believe he might have missed that experience on that minion, by the way.
No, he got it. He leveled.
Quite you.
I think he was just in range.
Oh, there's a knock. Oh my god, look at that damage.
That's the combo. That's literally what we've been waiting for him to do solo. And then, like, you throw in Wayne in that scenario. If Wayne is there to just instantly dash in, full combo, tornado, kill him, like, it gets really dangerous really fast for Tura. In a scenario you wouldn't think he'd be under that much threat in. Now we see 2 members from the side of Flash Wolves waiting off the wings. Ice Fang is going to pull the dragon. Pistol Dragon being started up. He'll keep it as far away as humanly possible, but that's going to be the engagement onto Malik. They're dropping Ting down to less than half health. He does get out of there, but Ron has been caught, healed up, but he will eventually be brought down. Shanyo is the Lindis. There's only really one way that can go, and that may end up being objective advantage going over to Flashless. But it looks like one doesn't really want it, so they're not going to take that risk. Now the duel between Lover and Heroes does look like Heroes is winning this ever so slightly. Shishi flickers underneath the tower. He gets a bunch of damage in there, cannot finish him off. That's going to be Tura going in to finish off Heroes. He'll manage to get the power surge on him, and Shishi has gone way too deep. He'll get himself out of there, but dear God, that was aggressive.
That's okay. Every single time he switches between modes, he gets his speed boost and he can dash out of there. So ends up being fine. A little bit aggressive on his end. Flashwell's trying to style onto one here, but perhaps playing on heroes that they're not 100% familiar with at the moment.
I just think that was just kind of greed. He also didn't ult. That's the thing. Shishi didn't instantly ult when he went in for that play.
He also mistimed his invulnerability onto the tower. So he could have just taken 0 damage from the tower and he got hit by that. So not all there at the moment.
This is just so weird.
Yeah. A melee warrior in the mid lane is something you don't see all that often.
And he's building straight into a rank breaker, but that's going to be Ron with a good slow on multiple targets. Fanta looking for his opportunity, being stunned up by Ice Fang. He's going to get the pullback in on the run, but Chi goes deep into enemy territory, gets Churro. That's going to be a Dark Dominion, but it doesn't really get all that much done. Now Ting uses the shot, gets stunned up, but the kill has gone over the side of Flash Wolves. They should be able to guarantee themselves the objective. Actually, they're just going to cut off Ting. They're just going to find him. They don't decide to engage, though, hoping that a squishier target would have been the one to rotate through that angle.
Yeah, Fanta made the mistake. Oh, speaking of mistakes, goodbye heroes. Fanta made the mistake of jumping into Shishi's red ball of death and trying to Dark Dominion him in that state. Speaking of Shishi, trying to jump on both of these members. This composition from Flash was just throwing me off so much, because if you think about it normally, they have not that weird of a comp, just role wise, just class wise. You have a marksman, a mage, 2 sideliners, and a support, but they're all over the place because one of the sideliners is in the mid, the marksman's on the side, and the jungle, or the mage, is in the jungle. So everything's all over the place.
They also failed to capitalize on a free Abyssal Dragon. They went for the tower push and that possible gank opportunity, didn't pull a trigger on the gank, didn't go get themselves the objective. So despite getting that first kill, we see Abyssal Dragon going over to the side of 1, and they lose the top tower. They give up the additional kill onto heroes. Despite this wild strategy from the Flash was looking pretty good, they're not really getting a whole lot out of it. It looks nice and flashy, and the damage looks cool, but they did overdive once, and they haven't converted the objectives.
That said, this is where Flash Wolves like to be in any particular game. They always like to get down a couple thousand gold and then just bring it back with one ridiculous team fight, and then everyone's scratching their heads wondering how that happened.
Yeah, Flash Wolves are the masters of making you be like, wait, how did I get here? I totally did not park my car here. And how much did I drink last night? Like, all 3 of those is what happens when Flash Wolves turn a fight on you, and you're just like, wait.
I thought I had $1,000. Now it's gone. What happened? That shouldn't. I don't get it.
Oh, Ron caught back in, has to use the gas protection pretty much just to save himself. Mispositioned that incorrectly. She goes over the wall, puts a little bit of damage on the Fanta just for good measure, just to prove a point. Make a statement that you cannot abuse my support without repercussions. You should be able to clear out this mid lane without too much damage going on to the tower. Heroes has not hit an insanely tanky level yet. We're still waiting for this rank breaker to come in through Richter, so maybe if a kill had gone through, they would have that finished first item. And the members of 1 are starting to reach a dangerous point where they have 1.5 items, and we're still waiting for some finished first items to come through Flash Wolves because of about a 2k gold difference. Now Fanta gets stunned, but can you really engage on the Mina right now?
Yeah, Ice Fang tried to help out to the side here, but 4 members of 1 pushing onto this tower here. Can Ice Fang and Ron hold on? Ron just a punching bag at the moment, and he did his job. He took a lot of damage. It hurt. He was crying through all of that.
Oh, but this is the collapse. This is the opportunity that Flash was looking for, but Ron takes a bunch of damage. It's going to be the re-engage from Wayne on the side, looking to see who's going to win the burst and the punish fight, and it goes over. Tura goes down, but the Abyssal Dragon goes over the side of Wayne. What? Good tornado from Wayne, just in the nick of time, but he was Deadzil walking. Deadzil floating?
Anyway, I thought you said like Denzel Washington or something like that. I got confused. In any case, good bait from Flash Wolves initially, as Ron got extremely low, and they pulled away right at the last moment to bait Tura in and get that kill. And our split screen here looks like we have a duel between Heroes and Lover. No mana for Heroes though, so can't really take that out. But
I think that Kickblade connects. He catches him.
Perhaps. Well, if he had mana as well, that's the other thing.
Yeah, that's true. No mana. No mana is a rough place to be when you're trying to chase down a Lubu. But Ting takes some damage, gets slowed, gets knocked out. That's the play that Shishi's been looking for literally all game, but a shock out. And Ting will survive. Now, pressure in the mid lane. Nobody there to clear out the waves except for a lonely Wayne. He is going to have to step forward, uses the tornado, puts pressure on the Fanta. This could turn into a good opportunity for them. But Heroes comes in at a shallow angle, doesn't have enough opportunity to flank. It's going to end up being trades and backs and waves cleared.
Yeah, Flash Wolves continuing to hold on, at least for the moment here. We do have what looks like a dedicated listener because they've heard us talk about Rank Breaker for a while. Why is Rank Breaker loses late game when they can kill squishies? Well, even squishies have quite a bit of armor just in their base kit. And so it's Muramasa will help a lot more for the tanky heroes and still be pretty even, if not do more still on the quote-unquote squishy ones who do have armor.
Anyways, play into Tura? Nope, gets out of there.
Well, one's doing a good job of continuing pressure, particularly in this top lane where Heroes just hasn't really been able to flicker in, but he goes on to Shanyo, nearly gets him down. She can't take him out.
He's still alive! Get out! You have to kill Shanyo. You have to find him, Heroes. They do manage to get him.
But that's a 1
that
for 2.
Ends up being 2 for 1, and Lover is here. Here comes Fanta. He'll get the hook. The knock-up. Can't sleep on the Lubu, says D2 at the beginning of this draft. And Lover delivers. And 1. Are they taking us to a game 3? Because it looks very likely right now.
Yeah, you saw Heroes trying to make the plays here, tried to go with the flicker. Oh my goodness, just completely jumping this tower is 1. They smell blood in the water trying to take down Ron, but these death timers are extremely short. She's going to be coming back here on that Richter, trying to get some damage in. He's got that red sword in his hands, which means he's on land. That's what that means. In any case, trying to push in here. 1, okay, good dash out here from Shishi. But Flash Wolves barely hanging on, starting to reach that critical point of the game where not even Flash Wolves can turn these fights.
Red sword by land, blue sword by sea? Is it a blue sword in the river?
I think so, but I'm not totally sure.
If anybody understands what really bad pun I was making, 10 points to you in the chat.
No, sorry.
It's a bad American Revolution Paul Revere pun. We're not going to get into it.
We're just going to go with it's a bad. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a bad, but Shishi on the flank. I mean, this is an enraged Abyssal Dragon, I believe, so timing on this could be good for the members of Flash Wolves if they can find something. They are putting pressure on Fanta. He's going to pull in Ron, but that's not a great target for him. There's going to be the slow.
Shishi goes down.
Lubu is up in the top half, but they caught Shishi. And despite how good this strategy kind of looked, one team are proving that they can come up with some interesting strategies too. They can play the Lubu, and they also know how to play fairly standard across other lanes. Maybe giving up Lindis, Mina, and Raz was not worth getting the Richter.
I wonder if this is how Richters typically play on Taiwan.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it would be hard to force, even in solo, even in like Masters or Conquerors, to convince people to get out of the mid lane for a Richter. But Flash was trying something new.
I think if he hadn't dove, if he hadn't made that crazy dive top, he'd probably be in better standing, because that cost them a lot of time and farm and deaths.
There's also the factor of Amelie being of completely different value from last game to this game, and I think it's not really a referendum on Amelie, but it goes to show how good Lubu is at the moment.
Can't sleep on Lubu.
I
think that's what we've learned, is that Lubu...
He's beat Omen every time we've seen him. Every single time.
This is true. So, I think he's just not seeing play because no one knows how to play him.
Right. They're trying to get back used to him. And because they're used to drafting other heroes, and it's not like he got that noticeable of a buff. I mean, to us it is, but to his play style not as much. In any case,
players don't read patch notes. What are you talking about?
Who needs them?
Does he feel better? I don't know. Have you played him? No. So how would you know if he even feels better? It just doesn't feel right.
Well,
not to hate on all the players, but that is a very player-esque response.
Well, the side of Flash Wolves has very fragile builds at the moment. Richter is nearly all damage. The Valheim is building the 1 damage down. Going into Hyoga's looks like at the moment, but up until this point, not the case. And so, nothing really wrong with that per se, but it's going to be hard staying alive in these team fights, especially when Ron keeps continuously getting poked down.
Yeah, I mean it's still possible for the Flash Wolves, but one have taken a commanding lead, and they are putting the right type of pressure onto Ron so that he doesn't walk into these team fights with a full health bar ever. And if the Challenger doesn't have a full health bar, then he can't kind of go get Intura and Shanyo's face so that he can disrupt that. He can put pressure on them. That then doesn't open up avenues for Wayne to find damage. Heroes doesn't feel as confident going forward as their power surges landing like trucks. And if this continues, maybe Flash Wolves can stall out, but eventually I think that these towers are going to drop. Just based on the sheer amount of pressure that is being exerted by the side of one. That's going to be Fanta stepping forward. Shot comes through. That's going to disrupt them. And that opens up the base, now putting additional damage on Neuron. They do have the minions. Good
oh my
minion
goodness.
to pull them all in, and they get obliterated by the damage. Shishi will go down. No, he'll survive momentarily, but that is one team taking us to a game 3.
My Shishi was in reference to him popping his red ball of death ult, but it amounted to nothing as he went down immediately. You know, through all of these games, and there haven't been very many, I'm not seeing the reasoning for the Richter ban.
No, Richter does not look as good as everybody thinks.
I think he's 1-2 so far.
Something
we had
like that.
we had an amazing game from...
He's by no means bad, but it feels like Ignis to the point where people are getting him. They're like, okay, sweet, we got him, and we gave up like
everything.
You sold like you sold your left arm to get your left hand. Like I can't come up with a reference that makes significant sense there. Like there's no euphemism that actually works here. It's
Imagine
like
you
giving
go,
up everything.
Imagine there's like this specific valuable that means a lot to
You're
only
winning.
you.
You're winning the battle. You're winning the battle to lose the war.
Right, but yeah, exactly. It's just not really worth it. And he's 1-2 right now, and he's been on heroes or players that have played him have been good players. Thus far, it's been Sun and Shishi. So if there are any players that could play him, it's those two. Sun, he won the first game, and granted, Sun was the reason why they won that game. But
it took them to deep late game to get there.
Right, because the rest of their composition was just lacking because they picked the Richter first.
It's like being a thief. You're stealing a jewel that's too hot to fence. Even if you get it, you won't get value. It doesn't seem like people are getting out the value they want out of the Richter, even when they sacrifice things to get.
Right, and then the second time we saw it, it was on Sun, and he got outplayed by Liang. Looks like we're having an issue with our stream. One moment, guys.
I'm wondering if maybe it's another YouTube issue. YouTube's been having trouble last couple of days.
Hold on. Looks like it might be okay. Okay, we might be okay here. Alright, hopefully it stays alive. Anyway, so, yeah, exactly. So then Sun got beat by Liang, and we were like, oh, Emily, that's a thing. And then this game is the next time we've seen Richter. He's been banned that many times in a row. It's been 2 weeks of play, and this is the third time we've seen Richter. The third time he hasn't been banned, by the way. And yeah, he's 1-2. Yeah, we're looking at these fights, but this was just like a slow burn, a slow death for Flash Wolves here, as they were just losing all their lanes, losing the mid lane, losing the top lane. And again, there really just has to be more Lubu. He's been demolishing people.
Yeah, he's definitely not getting the proper amount of respect that he deserves.
And it really calls into question some of these side lane bans, because if there's going to be that deep of a pool, you don't really need to ban them. Unless there's some sort of unless you can effectively ban out all either the counters or the heroes that can effectively deal with some sort of uber side laner. Because like you go down the list and it's just endless, right? You have first of all you start with the Valheim, and you can go with other like side lane marksmen as well, which you've seen like the Lingdis. But Valheim, Omen, now the Lubu, Kilgroth, Marja, Malak, who we don't really like, but people still ban for some reason. There's even like heroes like Arduin, and you can flex Kresh onto there. You see on the screen the Roxy, the Arum, the Yebeneth.
We haven't seen any Kresh all day.
Yeah, I think people maybe are afraid of putting the Kresh in the side lane. You could still play him in the support role, but yeah, it's just not really on the minds of players. But yeah, just responding to chat, it might be the same exact thing where just like Superman in the AWC, even though he's very strong, people aren't really getting the practice they need on him. And so when he's not banned, he's not performing.
Yeah, he feels a little 50-50.
Flash Wolves bans away Richter from themselves.
I mean, they're clearly not going to pick that again. Gotta put that one back in the tank for a bit. That one's going back in the lab.
Only Sun can really play Richter because he just picks up a hero. It doesn't even matter who it is. Even if it's Butterfly side lane, it just makes it happen.
Side lane Nakaroth. That was Thailand though, but still.
It worked. Somehow. Actually, I think that was GCS.
Was it? I thought that was Thailand.
No, I feel like it was GCS. Because it was so weird to us. I think it was one team, actually. It was one team against AHQ, wasn't it?
I honestly, that's a draft I do not remember. I can look it up at some point later, maybe tomorrow, but I don't know where that lives. And they're getting Shishi as Raz. I like it. Open up with something solid. The Valheim is off the board, so that's not drawing people into a false sense of security. I think this is a good choice for Flash Wolves.
I'm really baffled as to why Valheim has suddenly reemerged.
I don't get it. It baffles me why you'd put that much value on a non-damaging, non-strictly winning side laner. Like he does good in every side lane, but he doesn't win them, and he's not high damage and he's not high impact. He's good. Valheim is good by pretty much all accounts, but he is not god tier.
Well, for the second game in a row, we have Lindis Mina picked up here for 1. And that's forcing out the Chognar.
Chog Crick.
Do you think they need the Chognar?
I don't know if you need it, but now is when you would take it. Because it's not a bad pick for Ron if you have the counter poke. The problem was Tura and Shanyo were poking him into oblivion.
I feel like we're watching the same 3 Chef's moves play out over every single game, where Flash Wolves don't pick Mina, one does pick Mina, Flash Wolves has to pick the Chognar, which means that Flash Wolves in the mid part of the ban session has to ban out Roxy.
Yep. And the question is one team going to bait themselves with Malik again? Because this right here was where we expected them in game 1 to pick the Malik. This literally is game 1 draft with Cricknack traded out for Lindis, but like this is we've got our jungler, we've got our support, and then we didn't pick our mage, and I think it really hurt them there. And now they're hovering the Liliana like they should have in game 1, and it begs the question: Would Flash Wolves have won game 1 as well as they did if one team had kind of paid a little bit more attention to their mid lane pick?
Well, Tura is hardcore wavering here, flickering through every single mage.
Just pick the Liliana. If you pick that Tulin, you best have a dive, buddy. Alright, no, there's nothing wrong with taking the Tulin if you're going to facilitate him. That's the thing that I think that I think is underwhelming about Tulin is that people rarely also pick somebody to facilitate the Tulin. Somebody to set him up for the resets, somebody to combo in with him for the damage, somebody who can possibly help peel or be a secondary threat when his blink is down.
The thing is, they already had the setup with the Mina for the Liliana. Just hook in, Dark
True.
Dominion, Shining Light, Blinding Light, pop. They're all dead.
That is a fact. I don't know. I think it must be a Tura thing. He doesn't like Liliana.
He played Raz last game. Who did he play in game 1?
Game 1 he played the Flash.
So he likes
pretty bad.
He likes mage assassins that are not Liliana.
I'm thinking it's a comfort thing. Whether or not he likes her or not, he might not feel comfortable taking her into a professional game. Even if this is something we haven't brought up. This is the time to play Tura, because one team can't do anything playoff-wise. This is the time to let Tura get his feet wet, get as many games in as possible. Not a bad time to take out Hualin.
I feel like Hualin could just play anything, though.
Hualin does have a much wider hero pool, but again, of all of the times to take him out, we are at the point where it's okay to do that for one team. They literally cannot get into playoffs, so why not flex things here? Now, if Flash Wolves are just flexing missing for the sake of it, I would be really upset with them if they had just been doing that, because that's just so much unneeded pressure you put on your team and matches you could have locked up that series versus Mad.
Maybe
would have been undeniable first seed.
Maybe they were going for the ultimate pun. Our mid laner is missing. Oh, right.
I appreciate the candor with which that was delivered. That was delivered with all of the trappings of a dad joke.
Didn't slap my knee though. Didn't do the full dad joke. Anyway, Lubu actually banned out here from Flash Wolves, and there's the respect we're finally getting.
That's a good answer. The Lubu is very, very dangerous. I want to see more Lubu, just because I want to see how it plays into more of these matchups. We know it beats Omen. I don't think we've seen Lubu into Roxy. I don't know if we've seen Lubu into Yebeneth. Or
we know the developers want to see more Lubu because that buff is massive.
Very true, and we know it beats Amelie now. I don't know how it plays into Marja, but Marja's a good pick. That's a nice stable side laner, and now you just find one more good tank.
Right, a beefy side laner.
Yeah, I mean Superman is still up.
The thing is,
I would even be okay going Landis and bringing out the Zephys, but I know they're not going to do that. That's a theory. It's just not something that's going to happen. And Flash will take the Malik. They are asking for trouble.
Yeah, just stick the Marja across from there, and you see the smile on one's face.
They're like, do it. You won't do it.
Well, the thing is, one would have a perfect draft here if they had Liliana, because then they could slot in Arduin last tier and have that thick front line.
Oh, yeah, that would have been good. Arduin or Superman, either one, I think would have been fine in the set.
Arthur.
No.
He has 80. He has 88 armor.
That armor buff is fat, but not that fat.
Arthur. It actually, okay, you're very right. I was testing him out. It doesn't feel like very much at all.
It doesn't matter because people take so much flat armor pen that you're still getting good value on it at the early game. It makes him like really annoying to assassin junglers who have built tanky, and it makes him really annoying to like a couple of things, but I don't think he's that good. And one team bringing out the Amelie, everybody being like, all right, I can strut. I can move the Amelie. I'm down.
Well, this is a very good pick if they're able to play it, because like we mentioned earlier, she's pretty tanky in those team fights.
Yeah, and I think she wins the early game versus Heroes. I think Lover wins that exchange, especially if Shanyo shows up at good timings to add that little bit of extra damage. And it's good against the Cricknack, so now you've basically said you have to gank the Marja if you want effective ganks. And when a Marja is your effective gank, things are not in a great scenario.
Well, just look at the power heroes. One has them across the board. Tulin being kind of like 8/10 of a power hero. I'd rather have the Liliana. But you look at the side of Flash Wolves, they have 3. It's the Raz, it's the Cricknack, and who's the other one I'm missing? It's
Lincoln Kilgroth.
The Kilgroth, yeah, the Kilgroth. Those are the 3 power heroes, the ones that you're afraid of. Whereas there's 5. I would include the Mina in there because of how much a threat she is every time she just walks up to you. So I feel like one has just won this draft.
I agree. I'm still going to lean into Flash Wolves because I think that
they lose drafts all the time. They lose drafts all the time.
They lose drafts all the time, but like they
still win.
Like this draft as a loss is lost on the Malik, and that's about it.
Right, but we've seen this so often before. Flash Wolves will lose the draft and just demolish people because it doesn't matter.
Flash Wolves can lose. Flash Wolves can lose draft in the first 20 minutes a game, only to rip a team fight on you and then run it down mid. So I'm not strictly worried for the Flash Wolves. I definitely think that the drafting is better coming out of 1, and I'm impressed with how good this drafting looks. Because it seems like they did a good job of covering all the bases.
Fanta's always trying to get at this steal here. But a lot of this game will come down to if Wayne can successfully gank, because that is one of the biggest strengths of a Cricknack. Is to be able
he's not going to hit 4.
Yeah, it's not going to indeed, unless they can rotate and invade the side of 1 here. But they're not.
That's good work by Fanta. Just put enough threat to steal 1 camp.
Yeah, and that's going to take a lot of the pressure here off of the side laners on 1.
Yeah, he also got him to rotate to the awkward side of the jungle, so we're looking at a slower level 4 by not a massive amount, but by enough that we're not seeing the immediate 1 minute 30-second gank. It's going to be a little bit slower. Lover may be a little bit more aware of this.
By the way, you guys at home, if you're playing Emily's side lane, you have to get 2 Pendants of Faith, because apparently every single pro has been playing this way.
It's the only way to get the mana.
You do get mana off of your passive, off the passive on your second ability, but that means you have to just sit and do nothing for a while, which apparently you're not able to do.
It's the best active way to get mana. It's also a pretty low cost adaptation. You're like, oh, well, you lose a little bit of gold here and there, but honestly, I don't really see that being that big of a deal. We're going to see Heroes guarantee himself that Sentinel, and honestly, Flash Wolves look a little bit better. You also threw Shishi on the Raz, which is just that's a recipe for success. You put him on comfort as well as playmaking potential, and he definitely didn't look as good last game.
Well, he was also playing not even a mage last game. So.
True, but even so, like it didn't look like he knew what he was doing.
Well, Fireball is out of the bush. It feels better for him than Dash is out of the bush, as it seems. Tura getting a little bit aggressive here, but as that happens, Shanyo puts on the pressure.
That was just the right amount of bait from Tura. I like that. Like, he's like, I can bait him in just a little bit. We're going to see this getting bursted down pretty quickly. There's already rotation coming in from the Amelie, so they're going to need to walk in and burst this very fast. It's a steal away from by Wayne. They're going to get the shock in there. Fanta drops Flash Wolves. Ooh, that's a good way to open things up. With a wave being proxied up in the top by Heroes, they've come to play.
One Wayne same thing, except that Wayne's on the side of Flash Wolves. Wayne able to steal that out. Great play here from Flash Wolves. Perfect timing on their side, and one is certainly on the back foot. We did not expect this to happen, but they have just fallen behind from the macro here of Flash Wolves.
Yeah, and we haven't seen Flash Wolves really macroing in rotations and just better timings, but that was really good from them. Ice Fang not having a great time in this lane. He's
at least he
good
realizes
in gold. Yeah, like he's aware of how rough this is going to be for him. He's good in gold because they managed to get that Abyssal Dragon, and he was a part of that kill. So that's good for him, and they've kind of neutralized the Marja getting out of control. But
right,
let's see how the next engage goes.
Yeah. The important thing is he's not trying to be stubborn about it. He's like, all right, I lose this matchup, that's fine. But that said, there's a collapse here onto this side. I'm not sure who got the buff. Ended up going to Shanyo somehow. I'm not really sure how that happened. But good steal from them. And looks like things are going to relax for a moment. But as I say, that run's going in. Below this is Wayne. He has that drone drop ready. Just going to go out with a Terrifying Plague and back up for a moment. But still members hanging around here trying to make something happen. Seagull goes over to 1. Abyssal Dragon's up in 15 seconds. As both teams are clearing out the jungle over on the way. Shanyo picks up the Scorching Wind. That's going to be big for her. Or him, as it were. And yeah, just like
dive on the Tura.
Wow, Wayne just chunks Tura down completely, and that completely opens up this Abyssal Dragon if they want it. But Flash Wolves are just looking for a team fight here, very J-Team-esque from the Game 3 last round. But they're gonna back up, focus on this. One team, because they can't go for the Abyssal Dragon, they're trying to get something else. They're trying to go on to heroes in this top lane, but unable to get him as he's safely onto the tower. Wayne picks up the Abyssal Dragon.
Yeah, he played his positioning right there. They also had Shishi waiting in the wings in case the members of one team decided to make for that aggressive dive. And I guess we're learning that Emily beats Kilgroth for the most part.
It seems like it. That said, one has been rotating over a bit more, I suppose. Or at least that's what it's felt like.
There's definitely been a leaning towards the top half, but I wouldn't say it's been protecting the Kilgroth or been protecting the Amelie that much. She hasn't there hasn't been a gank attempt until now. That's gonna be the power surge in. They do not manage to get the upper.
Oh, she pops her ult.
Yeah, that's an ultimate burned out for a low cooldown play. And now Ice Fang, he's going to be the target of their aggression. There isn't a whole lot for them to steal. They'll take away one small camp. They were looking for that buff. And here comes the Cricknack, angling his way towards the bottom. Heroes deep in enemy territory, just farming up the wave. He'll be fine at the end of the day, which is interesting.
It's a kind of a battle of these ultimates. Both of them have fairly long cooldowns. Kilgroth is a little bit shorter. But if either one pops the ultimate and doesn't get a whole lot out of it, it's an advantage for the other side. Speaking of that Kilgroth-Emily matchup there. But Emily can go in, poke some damage away, and then get out, whereas Kilgroth has somewhat high cooldowns on his basic abilities, his 1 and 2. So that's what's going to happen here. Lover trying to push him down. He does have the Spirit Sentinel buff, so able to get that extra movement speed and healing to get on out of there. One's falling a little bit behind, down about 1,000 to 1,500 gold here. Just trying to hold on. Ting taking a lot of damage. Actually, Ghost walks into the minion wave, but she's going to get pulled up by Shishi. Taken down. Shishi taking some damage, but gets healed back up here. And that was expertly played by the side of Flash Wolves.
Yeah, that was a solidly well-coordinated dive. They managed to get the Ghost Walk out before the shock. They shocked at one angle to guarantee that Ting wasn't going to be able to get himself underneath the tower. Wayne getting dropped super low.
What?
And Tura manages to find that kill. I don't know how or why he got put in that position. Now we're looking at a 3v3 out of the bottom.
Shishi?
And, Shishi, he manages to almost finish the job. They do get a slow there. Tura being deterred. Shishi, I don't know if you necessarily want this because Shanyo is here. He's going to get shielded up, gets brought down. That's going to be the reset. Tura is going in, needs to get a little bit more damage. He actually manages to thread the needle on that one, and they may even dive here onto Ice Fang. Shock is going to need to be used. One just opened up an opportunity. They should be able to take themselves the Abyssal Dragon as well as getting this bottom tower. Whoa, one just wake up.
Shanyo just finding a way to jump on multiple members. Don't know how he got Wayne, but must have just jumped out of a bush there. Did the same exact thing to Shishi. Was just caught completely unaware, wasn't looking behind him as he walked into that bush. Tura gets a Thunderbird, brings down one, and he brings down another one when he fled that needle. But they're pushing onto this mid tower. All 5 running down mid here. Can they take it down in time? Lover taking tons of damage as Flash Souls is able to clear out that minion wave.
Yeah, ultimate out from Lover. That'll keep him alive, and members of 1 will just reset. They only managed to get 1 tower out of it. They also, I believe, got an Abyssal Dragon in there as well. Or did they transition mid?
Well, there's 45 seconds on the count. Oh, no, that's the enraged one, so I believe you are correct.
Okay, so they managed to get that, secure that second objective for themselves there. In pretty good shape right now. I mean, keeping up with Flash Wolves. It's always a dangerous position to be even with Flash Wolves, but there's no real advantage opportunity. That's going to be the pullback into Ice Fang. The shock is going to be canceled. He's going to throw out a cleave, and there isn't really enough lockdown or damage to be able to finish him off. They needed the Tulin or having the Amelie there as well, and that's going to be the dive into top. Lover taking a bunch of damage. The damage reduction is massive. The damage reduction is huge. He almost turns it around, but the tower drops. They get the burst in. Flash Wolves will be able to pick up the kill and the objective. That was dangerously close.
And that's the resistance that you can see there from an Amelie and Shishi. A little bit of wow, Fanta saw red there. He was like, I'm going to get you, Shishi. Flickered forward, nearly got the pull in that death scythe. Unable to pick it up though. Malok is one of the more tanky members on the side of Flash Wolves. We saw that a bit earlier, as he does have the Aegis to slow down the attacks from Shanyo. And that graph is just completely telling of how this match has gone thus far. But Shanyo, he's starting to climb up in the damage, but not quite yet to burst down some of the more tanky members. Ting, is she going to get jumped on? As the Ghost Walk there, and Wayne actually takes a chunk of damage in the meantime as Ting gets away.
They do get the tower, but they didn't commit towards the tower, which is a little bit of a concern. Oh, Shanyo, you don't want to be in that position. Does hit Shishi with Lunar Champion, and that's going to slow him down. Put him under a little bit of threat. Tura goes in. They got to block that one. That Thunderbird comes out.
Baited
next on
the
any
shield,
major
though.
Target. That's true.
I
mean, you better using the shield for good measure. That's mid tower going down. And 1 just playing with really good coordination, very good timing. Now we're going to see Hero fighting onto 2. He needs to start putting the damage onto Shanyo, and Shanyo is destroyed because Wayne shows up. But Lover is looking for him. Lover gets slowed. He's going to turn, use the auto attack. Nothing came out from Kilgroth, and it ends up being a 2 for 1. Should have been a 2 for none.
For 1? I mean, for 1 team?
2 for none for Flash Wolves.
Oh, right. Yeah, it could have been 2 for 0 for either team there, but Wayne just drops out of the sky to take them out there. Got both with the drone drop, I believe, which was absolutely huge. Shanyo and Lover trying to take out heroes there, and Wayne just in time to finish them off.
When you don't realize you're rhyming, and then it comes back to bite you.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Anyways, Flash Wolves are keeping themselves in the game with, pretty good plays from Wayne. They're trying to get heroes deeper and deeper into that build. He's on his way towards, not actually sure what. It's a little late for Rank Breaker. What else do you use the Chain Hammer for?
Who are we talking about?
Heroes.
Heroes is
that an Omni Arms? He's just got a chain hammer chilling there. I'm like, I really don't think you want to build a rank breaker at this point.
I'm less versed in the attack items, so we'll just leave that for now. Any case,
right, I'll figure out what he's up to. Wayne is going to put a little bit of damage onto Fanta. They do end up yielding up, but that's going to be the explosive KO from Shingy onto Tura. He's going to get him very low. He almost got him with that Thunderbird, but here goes Lover, resetting the fight. Gets dropped so low, then puts out the ultimate, but I think he's probably going to die. But they're destroying heroes. They trade out 1 for 1. Lover for hero, the Darkslayer laners for each other. Shingy or Shishi waiting off in the side lane. Shanyo
Fang?
is burning
Ice
down
Fang?
Ice Fang. Ice Fang needs to be careful. That's going to be the Thunderbird. The reset should come through because it was within the timing. And now Shishi is brought low. Shanyo on the hunt. That is what happened.
Wayne? Oh my god!
They get the Dark Dominion. They get Wayne. He's gone.
I have never seen a team get so baited as we just saw right now from Flash Wolves. Tura was standing just behind his tower, just enough so that Ice Fang wanted to get that cleave in, wanted to cancel that back, and right when he missed, Tura jumped on that opportunity. So did Shanyo, getting in that damage. Our feed is getting messed up. This is a bad time for this. 1 second, guys. But just putting on that damage was the side of Flash Wolves. I kind of want to go back just to see the instant replay, but in any case, here we go. We're back into the game, and lots of stuff is happening. Take it away. Actually, no, this is Wayne getting taken out. This is instant replay, guys. It's instant replay for you.
Instant replay.
Our stream is getting messed up. But yeah, and then Wayne tried to clean up members, as you just saw there, and could have got the drone drop off, but before he could even jump, the Dark Dominion comes in. Hopefully our stream is fine. But oh my goodness. I've never seen a pro team get baited as hard as we just saw.
I mean, one team just picked them apart. We know the Flash Wolves like to make desperate late game crazy team fights, but come on, that should not have happened.
Well, it's just the domino effect where Ice Fang, he tried to get a little bit greedy, tried to prevent the back air from Tura, and then everyone fell in a row behind him as Shanyo and Tura were on the death march forward.
Okay, it was Hercules Madness.
Okay,
I forget that item builds Chain Hammer because I build it so rarely.
Oh, by the way, the beginning of that fight started with Tura in the middle of 4 members of Flash Wolves and popping the Arctic Orb. So the bait even started before that. It was absolutely nuts.
Alright, well, with Enraged Missile Dragon on the members of one team, they are going to secure themselves the top inner. Mid lane will go over to Flash Wolves, so they will even things out a little bit. Dear God, that's a terrifying. That Lindis build is, it's weirdly scary. Like it feels a little disjointed, but I see what Shanyo is going for.
Well, it's weird because she has the Desticle, which means she'll be alive for a second after taking fatal damage, and in that time she can pop her Bow of the Slaughter active and heal right back to full. So this is a countermeasure against something like Wayne jumping her and immediately bursting her down to 0, because she can turn right around and heal right back to full right on top of him. So this is a really interesting build from Shanyo, and it's something that only works with Desticle and not necessarily with the Blade of Eternity.
Yeah, it's a curious adaptation because I just don't know. I don't know if Shanyo necessarily has the damage you would want for that just yet. Like, you'd want one more item worth of damage before you were trying to make the Desticle play. But I'm willing to see where it goes. The real question is how much good is Heroes going to do with how dangerous he is. He dies going into the backline, but his healing was reduced. There's going to be the Chaos Protection, great amount of speed. They get on Shanyo. He's going to survive. He's still surviving. He's going to make it out. No, Ron finishes him off. That's going to be the chase in by Shishi. They will manage to get Tura. He is just waiting to die. And there's a Flash Wolves team fight in standard Flash Wolves fashion.
I was staring at Shanyo that entire time, and I watched as he ran away, and I watched as the Dark Blessing buff got procced, and I watched as even after that the Desticle went off, and he was kept alive for a little bit longer, but none of it was enough, as somehow Flash Wolves, down 4,000 gold, down a buff, are able to take everyone out.
This is definitely game.
Can Lover, oh my goodness, Lover cannot hang on, can't even take out the Siege minion. Ting is not up yet for even a while longer, and that is the core going down immediately. Oh my goodness, can Flash Wolves turn around a game?
I mean, that right there, Flash Wolves fashion. We said it at the beginning. It's like, I mean, Flash Wolves is down, but you know, their standard procedures to get down in gold, down in kills, turn it in a late game team fight, and just run it down. That's all. It's just straight up Flash Wolves.
How do they make this work every single time? It's just it.
They only make it
boggles the
work when they
mind.
only make it work when they have Shishi.
This is very true. She's certainly a massive part of their lineup. I do not think that Missing could have pulled off what Flash Wolves pulled off there with Missing in the lineup.
Definitely not.
But oh my goodness, that game. This game was pretty nuts. Have to give it to Heroes as well. Heroes was a hero that entire time. I gotta say, I think if we're talking superstars, it's gotta be Shishi, Wayne, and Heroes. They're just...
my MVP of the series is Lover. Lover brought out some play from I don't even know where. Like, what's with these Darkslayer laners just being like, nah, we all in the mix. This isn't just the Sun Liang game. Like, Lover's proving he can play way more heroes than we thought. Brings up the Emily in pretty good fashion. Brings up the Lubu. Well, he's definitely not kicking. He's definitely not kicking down the door of the other two. But he at least brought out some more creative play. And same with, I mean, Heroes did. Heroes wasn't as impressive. I think that was a little bit more standard Heroes from what we just know of him.
Well, Heroes took out Shanyo at the end, like by himself. So there's that.
He did. But that's like what happens when you're a 6-item Kilgroth. Like, if I feel like that's a little bit more par for the course. I was more impressed by Lover because I wasn't expecting it.
True. But gotta be mentioned that Heroes did win that last game against Lover. He did play the Amelie in the first game just to show us that more teams other than Liang on SNG can bust that out. But certainly that was one heck of a performance. By the way, does it not seem like the damage is low that game? 66,000 damage on the Shishi was only about 30-something%. Maybe because the game just ended immediately and we didn't go through the whole cycle of killing the objectives on the map a few times. It was just, well, that's the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the game didn't really go past 20 minutes, so we didn't have the time where people's numbers were just bigger. And then the damage ramp is there.
So. Wayne had that one crucial kill onto 2 members there. That really opened up the game.
When
Wayne jumped in and got Dark Dominions.
Wayne got Dark Dominion, I was like, it's over.
Oh my goodness.
It's straight up over.
Nearly happened, but Flashels... I don't even know what happened that last fight. I was just looking at Shanyo the entire time. But then when I look up, the entire team was dead somehow.
I mean, they brute forced it. They brute forced it with just a lot of damage, and they got onto Shanyo really quickly, and everyone else was like, "Ah, crap! We have to peel back in and save him. He's technically out of position in this scenario. He's technically caught," and it just kind of spiraled from there.
Do you think Shishi is their shot caller? Because he's so aggressive. And
that's possible.
It seems like, because even if they had Missing, even if he was playing a backline hero, it feels like if the entire team is going, he would be able to follow up on the damage there and get stuff done. Maybe it's either that they need that aggressive mage to help them, or Shishi is actually their shot caller, because they just play differently. Especially that last fight. From what I can remember, the team 1 was pushing in onto that tower, and they weren't even that badly positioned. It was just slightly off, and there was slight vulnerability to them, and Flash Wolves just boom went on top of them, and the entire team just crumbled beneath them. So it just feels like they have better prompt decision making, if that makes any sense. Like they just go on a dime, whereas before that didn't seem to be the case.
I'm leaning towards you're right that he might actually be the shot caller. Because I remember back when we would see Crixie as just a more of a mainstay pick, like before she got nerfed. And I want to say, I'm trying to think of whether or not there were passive mages played by Shishi, and I feel like there were. So that you might be right there that it's really just a coordination team shot calling thing, or maybe even if he's not the main shot caller, he's a key voice in their decision making.
By the way, I'm curious about this new announcer on the left side. She seems very nervous. Anyway, but hopefully things get better than them. We are not going to be doing the GCS tomorrow, by the way, guys. We are going to be having RPL all day playoffs. We're going to find out who at least one of their AIC representatives are. I believe they've had a tournament going on throughout the week to determine another AIC representative, because Thailand gets 3 because they're one of the host countries. So I'm not sure how that goes. I will try to research that for you guys, but we know for sure there's going to be one AIC representative, and it's going to be the winner of the ROV Pro League. So tune in tomorrow. Actually, that starts about 12.5 hours from now, so not even tomorrow if it's morning for you guys right now. So tune into that. We'll be casting all day, and we'll find out who from Thailand will be going to the AIC. So make sure you catch that. And then we'll be back with the GCS 2 days from now, and that will also be earlier than normal. So if you want those times, check down in the description below, below the GCS insignia. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.
Peace.